before they head off to spring training. This is your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM. HD1 and HD2 Kansas City. An Odyssey sports station. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Let's do this. Another day, another dollar, another edition of The Drive. You were listening to The Drive on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you on this wonderful Wednesday. And we have a lot of things to get into. Kansas with a very impressive performance last night against Iowa State. Missouri plays Auburn at home today. Kansas State has another game today as well. We'll talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. We got a special edition of Spec Says to get into, and we're going to start today's show with the top story in sports, some breaking news that is affecting the NFL draft. Before we get to that, I need to remind you guys of a couple of things. Number one, I need you listening to The Drive each day at 2 o'clock right here on 96.5 The Fan. Number two, I need you to tell one friend to check out the show. And number three, and most importantly, I need you guys to remember that the open of the show each day is brought to you by our friends over at The Other Place. So stop by, grab a bite to eat, grab something to drink, check out some of their amazing food and drink specials, and be sure to go stop by and see our friends over at The Other Place. So let's hop right into it. Dante Moore, a lot of people believe that he was going to be the number 2 overall pick in the NFL draft. He has made the decision to go back to Oregon.
The year didn't end the way you wanted to end, and of course, got to give your kudos and credit to Indiana. But yeah, with this decision, mainly all my life, it's kind of just been, being as most prepared as I can for any situation I go into. And when it comes to me just making my decision, of course, I want to feel most prepared and, it is best for my situation, especially as a quarterback. And with my decision, it's been very tough. I prayed a lot about it, talked to many people, my mentors and people I just look up to. And with that being said, of course, I'll be coming back to Oregon for one more year and being able to play for the Oregon Ducks and, of course, reach our goal and be national champions.
I thought that Dante Moore was leaning this way. A lot of times, if you can kind of decipher what's real and what's not real, a lot of times when we get to these announcements, you already kind of know the answer. Now, I certainly get the allure of being potentially the number 2 overall pick. I don't want to lock you into the number 2 overall pick because mock drafts say that you are, and we've seen plenty of times where mock drafts get things wrong, but he is a very talented quarterback in a league that really prioritizes the position, so there's no question in my mind that he was going to be selected very, very high in the NFL draft. And this is where maybe I disagree with the masses when it comes to this. And I think that in some ways we have either an archaic way of thinking about quarterback development, or we don't want to acknowledge why the NFL is potentially in the quarterback situation that it is. We talk about this all the time. Football is not something that you can passively do. It is not something that you can replicate real life, real bullets, real experience. You have to get your hands dirty. You got to roll up your sleeves and you got to actively do it. And a lot of the quarterbacks that we have seen over the last 5 to 10 years that have flamed out the most are the players with minimal college football experience. They're Anthony Richardson, who only made 13 starts in college football. They're Trey Lance, who only started 1 year of college football. Mitch Trubisky. We can go up and down the list of quarterbacks that were drafted much more off potential than they were actual production in college football. Now, being a great college football player does not ensure that you are going to be a great pro, but it certainly gives you a good foundation and gives you an opportunity to be so. So if we are talking about this purely from a financial standpoint, then I think Dante Moore made the wrong decision. If you are only looking at it in the vacuum of, well, how quickly can you get into the NFL? How quickly can you get to your second contract? Then yes, delaying it by a year hurts you over the long-term effect of how much money you can make playing football. But I think this is a much deeper conversation than this. It is about putting yourself in a position to be best equipped to have success in the National Football League. So sure, there is a possibility that Dante Moore passed up on being the second overall pick in this year's draft, and next year ends up being the 19th overall pick in next year's draft. That is certainly a possibility. But it also is a possibility, if you're willing to acknowledge that it could hurt him on the front end, you have to acknowledge that it could potentially help him on the back end. You just heard him talk about quarterback development. One of the reasons why I think Bo Nix was able to come into the NFL and have so much success early on in his career and carry that into his second season is because Bo Nix made 54 starts in the SEC and the Pac-12. And when you play in those kind of games and you play in those kinds of situations, it gives you a chance at immediate success. So this is not, to me, a conversation that can only be had in what's best for 2026. No, you got to be thinking about what's good for 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029. And now that we don't have to tell these kids, you got to jump into the NFL immediately because you need the money. Now that you can make $4 to $6 million playing college football, continuing to stay a kid, continuing to learn to read defenses, continue to play in high leverage situations, continue to get live reps. So when you go to the NFL, you've seen these things and you've been in more high pressure situations. It is only ultimately going to be the best for us and the organizations that we cheer for. My stance on this moving forward is always going to be, when in doubt, just go back to school. If you got a chance to make $5 million, you got a chance to go win a national championship, you got a chance to start in 14, 15 more high-level college football games, you got a chance to be better equipped from day one to walk into the NFL and be a starting quarterback and not just start, have success as a starting quarterback in the NFL, then you got to think about your development over the dollars. You got to think about your production. You got to think about what you can do, then your future earning potential, because the money is going to be there if you're good as a quarterback in the National Football League. What quarterback isn't getting paid? Tua is getting big-time dollars. Kyler Murray is getting big-time dollars. Trevor Lawrence is getting big-time dollars. We're having conversations about C.J. Stroud. If you show any ability to play quarterback, they're going to pay you. So don't focus on the money. The money's going to be there if you do what you're supposed to do. You'll get endorsements if you end up being a good quarterback in the National Football League. You get the chances to be on the cover of Madden. You get a chance to be a celebrity. You get a chance to do all of those things. To me, this is a decision in which you are keeping the main thing the main thing. I want to be the best possible football player that I can be when I enter the National Football League. And that is all I want 20-year-old human beings thinking about before they make the biggest decision of their life. Now, the second part of this, which is much more of a college football conversation than an NFL conversation, Rob, what is Dylan Raiola about to do? Because Dylan Raiola was the starting quarterback at the University of Oregon, or Nebraska. He is now the backup quarterback at the University of Oregon. Now, to my understanding, he has until Friday to re-enter the transfer portal and continue to talk to programs and university. I imagine that his phone is ringing off the hook because there are still teams that would take Dylan Raiola right now to go be their starting quarterback. And we all know how college football is. You can always transfer back to Oregon. I mean, Dante Moore ain't staying 2 more years at Oregon. He's staying 1 more year at Oregon. So you can go collect a bag from Ole Miss, depending on what happens with the Trinidad Chambliss situation. And then at the end of that year, you can still go be the quarterback at Oregon if that is what your heart tells you to do. So now what is Dylan Raiola going to do is now the biggest question as we are heading into the end of the transfer portal. You don't have to make a decision on where you are going to play by January 16th, but you have to be in the transfer portal by January 16th in order for you to decide that you want to leave or not. Rob, I guess just really quickly here, what do you think Dylan Raiola is going to do? Because You don't make the decision to go to Oregon with just completely blind faith on what you think is going to happen to Dante Moore. Is he fine just sitting and learning and being the backup quarterback at Oregon for a year, maybe taking a little bit of a break, taking a little bit of a step back, learning a system for a first year, and then in that second year, he's ready to step in as a starting quarterback at Oregon and then dominate and then go to the National Football League? I'm very intrigued about what could happen at one point, Dylan Raiola was the number one quarterback prospect in all of high school football. He has had a good start to his career, not a great start. He has had a good start, but this is heading into year 3. This is the year you were supposed to go ball out, and then you become a top 10 pick in the National Football League draft. That's not the case if you're backing up for Dante Moore next year at Oregon.
I mean, Raiola claims that when he made the decision, he was happy with whatever outcome Dante Moore was going to have. I can't imagine that's actually true. I imagine that's, as the kids say, cap, and that between now and Friday, he will re-enter the transfer portal because there's no way he left a starting gig at Nebraska, a Power 5 Big Ten school, to watch Dante Moore for a year and then start next season. And at that point, basically only have one season at Oregon before he heads pro. Like that, I think he's going to re-enter, but when he committed, he had the thought that there's a chance this happens, and he was fine with whatever outcome. I think that's a big-time lie, but we have 48 hours to find out what the deal is with Dylan Raiola and if he's going to stay an Oregon Duck.
Text line 913-586-7965. So, CDOT, you think that every quarterback should stay 4 years and develop? No, I think it's a case-by-case basis, but I wouldn't feel comfortable entering the National Football League until I got to about 30 starts. Right now, Dante Moore is at 20 starts. Another year at Oregon puts you at around that 30 starts. I just think it sets you up for so much more success if that's what you're going to do. I think you need at least 2 years of high level starting at a Power 4 level in the National Football League. Man, one of the reasons why Brock Purdy was able to have so much success in San Francisco is, man, you've been a 4-year starter at Iowa State. You kind of come into it with just a measure of understanding. It's already hard enough to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League. So I'm going to do everything I can to make my learning curve as small as possible and make my transition as smooth as possible. And we can take a look at it. We can go back to quarterbacks over the last 10 years who made less than 25 starts in college football, and I'm telling you, you will be very, very surprised. Unless you are Joe Burrow and you just have one amazing year and you're able to carry that, man, almost everybody else stays for a couple of years. Josh Allen got a couple of years of experience. Patrick Mahomes got a couple of years experience. Lamar Jackson, we can go up and down the list. Man, you got to play at least 2 or 3 years of high-level college football. Then you enter the National Football League, and then you have success. Man, playing well at Oregon for 1 year and now just jumping into the league, I just don't think that sets you up for long-term success. Sure, it sets you up to maximize your rookie contract. That is not the goal of a quarterback in 2026. Your goal is, how do I get the absolute biggest possible bag for contract number 2? That's the one that sets you up where you don't have to work anymore. That's the one that gets you the $165, $200 million guarantee deal. So I'm doing everything I can to put myself in the best possible place where I can go get that bag. So that's what I think Dante Moore's decision is. That's what I would tell Trinidad Chambliss. That's why I'm in very much favor of Chambliss doing everything he can to fight to get back into college football and play another year. Man, Trinidad Chambliss was playing at Ferris State a couple of years ago. He played 1 year at Ole Miss, and now you're about to go to the NFL? No, take another year of playing SEC football and then go enter the NFL draft. So, yes, my stance is going to be very clear when it comes to this, especially now that you can make NFL starter money playing starting quarterback at Missouri. You can make NFL starter money playing quarterback at Ole Miss. Stay in school, get as much reps, get as much experience as you possibly can, and then you go be a pro in the National Football League. Coming up on the other side, let's talk about the University of Kansas that gave out a shellacking yesterday to Iowa State. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan. Did you know we have an Instagram channel? MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, best bets, fantasy football advice, and real-time updates during Chiefs games. Get behind-the-scenes content from all the guys on a daily basis. It's exactly why Instagram was created, to look at a bunch of 30-year-old dudes giving sports opinions. Kansas City's FM sports station and your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
The world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
What is it that makes the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid an incredible SUV? Is it the spacious interior that's comfy for the whole crew? Or the capability to go off-road? Maybe it's up to 600-plus miles of range. What if it's all of that and more? What is it then? The all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid. So much more than just another SUV. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu medicine. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
What's good, y'all? It's Von Miller, Super Bowl MVP, SAG Master, and now your host of Free Range. This is where NFL meets real talk. Every week, I'm bringing you inside the game, from locker room stories to league-wide headlines. You want football IQ, locker room insight, and real conversations with the people shaping the league? Welcome to Free Range with Von Miller, where nothing is off limits and every down counts. New episodes every Wednesday. Listen and follow Free Range with me, Von Miller, wherever you get your podcast.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and on behalf of everyone here, I want to thank you for listening to another season of Chiefs football right here on 96.5 The Fan. Although the season didn't go as planned, we saw record listenership these last 6 months, and that's all thanks to our listeners and Chiefs Kingdom. Our coverage will not change these next couple of months as we get you ready for a busy offseason, starting with the Combine, free agency, and the NFL Draft. Stay up to date with us on YouTube, Instagram, the Odyssey app, or right there in your car. This is your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
All right, let's talk about the University of Kansas because, boy, did they come out and they just laid the absolute lumber on Iowa State yesterday. It was an 84-63 win, and quite frankly, Iowa State just never really had a chance of winning this game. Kansas came out like a team that understood the importance of this game, knew what they had to do, and they executed that for a full 40 minutes. They outscored Iowa State 44-23 at halftime and ended up beating an undefeated, top-ranked number 1 seed in the NCAA tournament, Iowa State team. They beat them by 20 points at the crib. A couple of thoughts. The first thought that I have is this was as balanced of a team that we've seen Kansas be so far this season. And if Kansas shoots like this, they beat just about anybody in basketball. I mean, they would have beat the Brooklyn Nets with the way that they shot yesterday. Kansas shot 50% from the floor. They shot 50% from 3, and they were 10 of 12 from the free throw line. I mean, offensively, just everything was clicking for them yesterday. And KU has 4 guys that you think can score. All 4 of those guys scored in double figures yesterday. And Bryson Tiller, who I think is a guy who's going to be a much better player his sophomore and junior year if he stays in school and just continues to improve. And now with NIL, it just incentivizes guys like Bryson Tiller. You are not ready for the NBA. Stay at Kansas. Let self help you and continue to develop your game. He gave you 8 and 4 yesterday. Rob, as a Kansas basketball fan, you got to be happy about what you saw yesterday. That's the Kansas Jayhawks that was ranked top 15 preseason. That's a Jayhawks team that's a 4 or 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
I talked about it yesterday. If KU can play their absolute best, I think they are one of the – I don't think they're a 1 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think that's way too high. But there's no reason they can't be a 4 seed. They had not, at any point during conference play before last night, played to their potential. Last night you saw it. You saw what it looked like. When everything is operating at peak efficiency, that team is as good as anyone. Darren Peterson's a top 1 pick in the NBA draft. Melvin Council is a good college basketball player. They actually, while they have a short bench, they have enough role players to get by. And then if Trey White's going to be hitting shots like that, you can just turn the lights off. The party's over. But it's now, as a Kansas fan, as excited as I was about last night, and we can talk about the crowd. They had a number 2 team rattled from the tip.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that too.
Like, everything went great. Jamari McDowell played well, everything. Now for me, and maybe this is like my brain just started moving the next game, you got to start stacking these up because they had a great 5-minute stretch where it looked like that against TCU, and they came out and laid an egg against West Virginia. They had a second half where it looked like that against NC State, a good NC State team. They had a second half where it looked like that against Tennessee. But these are markers on the calendar that don't connect. It's point A, lull, point B. You can't have a lull anymore. You now have to, on Friday, turn around. It may not play at the same intensity, emotion, or whatever, but it needs to look similar to that against Baylor. You're going to Colorado. They stink. Go make it look like that. K-State, rivalry game. Have it look like that. And then I will start to buy back in fully to this team being a top 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. Right now, it seemed like there it is. Now, capture that moment, put that genie in a bottle, and ride that forever.
Yeah, I don't really think it's possible for Kansas to play too much better than they played in this game. It was a well-balanced attack. Trey White led you in scoring with 19. Darren Peterson had 16. Melvin Council had 15. And you got Floyd. Floyd was 5 of 6 from the floor, had 10 points and 7 rebounds, and just really provided great energy, especially on the defensive side. Kansas was much better defensively than we've seen them play in recent games, especially in conference play. Iowa State shot 37% from the field, and Iowa State missed 18 threes in the game. And Kansas was using those opportunities to get up and down the court. They were unselfish in a lot of ways. They had 17 assists on 30 made baskets. KU played a nearly perfect brand of basketball yesterday. I also think the other message that we learned from yesterday's win is, Allen is still Allen. Now, I'm not saying that Kansas couldn't beat Iowa State in the Big 12 tournament. They obviously could. But to your point, Rob, and I think you're 100% accurate, I thought the first 5 minutes of it was vintage Kansas basketball and vintage Allen Fieldhouse. We understand who we are. We feel like we have the best, not just home court in basketball. We think that the advantage that we offer our team is greater than any advantage that any fan base offers their team. This team needs our help. We got to band together. That place was loud early. That place was loud late. Fans were super engaged. Fans were that sixth man that Kansas needed, and you're 100% accurate in that the team fed off of that energy and came out with as good of an energy that we've seen basically so far this season. It's hard. This game was never close. Iowa State never led in this game. Not once. Not at 2-0, not at 4-3. Iowa State got BTA from start to finish in this game, and I thought the crowd set the tone very early, and I thought the team responded very well to that energy.
I mean, this is a team that I saw struggle against TCU, I saw struggle against West Virginia, and we talked about it on the show yesterday. This is a must-win game. I think the crowd understood the assignment because Iowa State, and Jay Billis in the broadcast was mentioning this almost as often as they mentioned the technical difficulties, that Iowa State likes to get up in you, play great defense, and they're a great shooting team. They were not a great shooting team yesterday. Some of that's just, missed shots. Some of that's, Kansas defense, and Kansas was just getting whatever they wanted offensively. And Iowa State, that averages 10 turnovers a game, at the third media timeout of the first half had 10 turnovers. We had reached the under 8 media timeout, and Iowa State had 10 turnovers. They averaged 10 a game. Kansas defense played better. It didn't go from 212 defense across the country to all of a sudden it looked like the Pistons under Larry Brown. The crowd clearly had an impact on that team, which is a little bit surprising because Iowa State's relatively senior laden, like their point guard's a senior, but it doesn't matter. That crowd rattled that team, and it was
You and I both
over.
know that building is different. You and I both know it. That building is different. This will not be the last time that you see Kansas as an underdog. Kansas will be an underdog again this season at Allen Fieldhouse. They play too many good teams. BYU's better than they are. Arizona's better than they are. Houston's better than they are. This will not be the last time that KU will be underdogs in their own building. If KU can come out with that kind of energy and the crowd come out with that kind of energy, they are going to continue to beat people in that building. Now, the $1 million question for KU is, no one questions if KU is a good home team or not. Even if this isn't the Jayhawks of old, this isn't the Jayhawks that you and I grew up with, they are still a very, very good home team. They're not as dominant as they were 10 years ago at home, but they're losing in that building, once a year, maybe twice a year? That is still way above the norm and way above the average. And it's not like random teams are going in there. They're losing to UConn and Texas Tech and Iowa State in that building. I just saw Michigan lose to a very average Wisconsin team at home on Saturday. So they are still better than everybody else when it comes to their home court advantage. I don't question that. It's them going on the road. It's them going into Bramlage Coliseum and leaving with the win. It's them going on the road to Arizona State. It's them going on the road to Baylor. Can they avoid those pitfalls this year? But I would guess they probably lose one more game at home. You're not going to shoot 50% against Houston from the field. You're not shooting 50% from the floor against Arizona. So you're going to have to be able to grind it out. Do they have enough guys to be able to grind it out against quality competition? But against Iowa State, again, just from start to finish, Kansas came out there. They were the better basketball team. They were the more aggressive basketball team. They fed off the energy from the crowd. They were incredibly balanced. They knocked down shots. Kansas played about as perfect of a college basketball game that you can play.
I'll also say this, and I agree with you on the whole. As a Kansas fan, one of the things that has me the most giddy about what happens from here on the season out, that's the most explosive we've seen Darren Peterson on a Kansas jersey. He still doesn't look 100%. Like, he missed a dunk. He tried to just absolutely posterize some guy, and it didn't work. And then he still didn't finish the game. Some of that's the score. Some of that's he just wasn't quite right yet. But if Darren Peterson's going to look bouncy suddenly, then KU's just a very different team. So he only had 16. I actually don't think he played well. Still had 16 points, which is crazy. But he's starting to get a little bit of that explosiveness you heard about in high school back. And if he becomes the eye-popping wow athlete on top of being the elite scorer he is, Kansas' ceiling just raises 2 or 3 levels with his health and explosiveness.
That's the one thing we haven't really seen so far from Darren Peterson. We have seen incredible footwork. We've seen incredible skill. But when you were making the Kobe comparison and people were making it, man, Kobe is A-plus elite level athlete. Like, Kobe would take off on you. It wasn't just replicating Mike and the step backs and the Mamba mentality. No, young Kobe Bryant would dunk on you. We haven't really seen that so far from Darren Peterson. I do think a lot of that is attributed to the soft tissue injury and the hamstring injury. You're right. If you're going to add that to his game, and we haven't seen that yet, incredibly efficient he's been so far, but he ain't really shown the ability to take off on you. If he's going to do that, you're right. It adds a completely different dimension of offense to this Kansas team.
And there was twice. He failed both times. I will wholeheartedly say failure. There was twice he tried to make dunks that would send that place into a frenzy. He once just couldn't get enough elevation to get over the dude. And the second time, I don't know what happened on the second missed dunk. It's like they tried to dunk it too hard almost. But he had 2 missed dunks, but you start to see a little bit of a little bit of the explosiveness. You heard Fran Fraschilla last week during TCU be like, you start to see it, and now over a couple games, he's starting to look a little bouncier over time.
I want to play this for you. This is Art Rooney. He is one of the co-owners of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's transition to the NFL and the coaching searches that are happening right now in the National Football League. So here's the owner of the Steelers talking about that he was surprised but not shocked by the resignation of Mike Tomlin.
Well, it was his decision, and I will say that I wasn't shocked, but I wasn't expecting that conversation yesterday either. There were, when you get to this stage of a career, obviously he even mentioned it himself that he was nearer to the end than the beginning, and so, you could see that coming, and so as I say, I can't say that I was shocked.
Would you have been willing to give Mike the extension on his contract for 2027 in March, and did he ask for that?
No, I'm not going to get into his contract at this point. I was certainly willing to, take another run at it next year with Mike, and that's what I was expecting to talk about yesterday, but obviously went in a different direction.
I believe Art Rooney. I mean, I know teams lie and teams hold information, and that's fine, I guess. I believe him. I don't think that Mike Tomlin was forced out. That was not the tone of this press conference. The tone of this press conference was not that the Steelers felt like they were ready to move in a different direction. That was the tone of the Ravens press conference, and from their owner said that they were firing him regardless of what happens. It didn't matter if they won the division, didn't matter if they had won a game in the playoffs. The Ravens were letting go of John Harbaugh. That is not the tone that was given in this Pittsburgh Steelers press conference. I think the Steelers were prepared to do what they've always done. I think they were prepared to bring Aaron Rodgers back. I think they were prepared to bring back Mike Tomlin. Now, we don't know Tomlin's side of the story. I imagine at some point we'll hear it. I mean, you can't do television and then not tell us your side of the story. So I think at some point Tomlin's going to sit down. But I do believe the story. I believe that the weight of everything, of the outside, of the noises. I mean, these people live in the real world. As much as they try to make it seem like they don't listen to me, they don't listen to podcasts, they don't see what you say on Twitter. It's human nature. There's people talking about you and your career and how they feel about you constantly, 24/7, all around you. It is impossible to not hear the noise that is around you if you are Mike Tomlin. I believe that started to wear on him. And I think if you've been doing one job for as long as he has, man, I can step away from this thing. They didn't fire me. I didn't flame out. I didn't fail. There was no scandal behind me. I don't think there's some bombshell that's coming that Tomlin's terrible to people. And I think Tomlin was just done being the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And now that television is throwing around the amount of money that they're paying, and you're talking to coaches and you're talking to former players, and there's now avenues to do podcasts, and you can make great money doing that. And you're telling me I've already made $100 million. I can now make $2-3 million a year, work 2-3 days a week, less stress, great job security. I think you're seeing a lot of guys just take that job, take that less stress. I've made good money. Let me do it for a little bit. I can always get back into coaching if I want to. It's not like if Tomlin says in 12 months, I'm ready to come back, there won't be a majority of suitors that are out there. I mean, we were having the Bill Cowher conversation for years before it was just, he's not coming back. We had the John Gruden conversations for years. Tony Dungy. You're going to always be asked if you want to come back, especially at Tomlin's age and his apparent health. So I believe him. I don't think there was some disagreement. I don't think there was some friction. I believe the Rooney family. We went 10-7. We went to the wild card. We are happy with the direction of our organization. We were going to continue moving forward with our head coach, but he had different plans.
I agree with you. I also think one of the reasons why we believe the Rooney family is more so than maybe any ownership group in the NFL, the Rooneys kind of walk the walk when they talk the talk. Like, isn't this their fourth head coach since, 1950 or something crazy like that? Like, there is an insane Steelers coaching stat out there. So I don't believe the Rooneys, that are historically the opposite of trigger happy when it comes to firing head coaches, woke up Tuesday morning and thought, it's time to let Mike Tomlin go. I think this has been wearing on Mike Tomlin for a while, and he just 19 years at a job, a high-stress job, a very public-facing job, thought, I need a break. And I believe him. I'm sure it was a conversation where I'm not surprised, but I'm not shocked. I'm not shocked, but I am surprised because he's been very good at his job, and he's always a guy who the next day after a loss, like, let's get back to work to make our team better. And then just this year, it wasn't that way. But I think the Rooney history of how they handle head coach is one of the reasons why people believe what Art Rooney is saying. If Jerry Jones said that, you'd say it's just lip service because Jerry Jones fires everyone.
For sure.
That's not how the Rooney family has operated.
100%. It's definitely track record and how you've operated as a company, how you've operated as a business. And the Steelers have shown incredible loyalty. There might not be a company, an entity that has shown more loyalty to their head coach in American sports than the Steelers. So if they say we weren't planning on firing him, I believe them. I got 19 years of track record of telling you they were not planning on firing him. Here's what Art Rooney said when it comes to the quarterback position about what Pittsburgh could potentially do.
Or do you think this impacts Aaron Rodgers at all? Yeah, I mean, look, Aaron came here to play for Mike, so I think it will most likely affect his decision.
That was the Rooney family talking about Aaron Rodgers. I would be very, very surprised if Aaron Rodgers came back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if anybody could tell you if they know what Aaron Rodgers is going to do next season. I still think Rodgers can play. I don't think Rodgers can play at a high level. But if you were asking, heading into the 2026-2027 season, is Aaron Rodgers still a starting caliber player in the National Football League? I think the answer is clearly yes. Now, will Rodgers go play for anybody? I don't have the answer to that. But if you were saying for this upcoming year, is Aaron Rodgers capable of starting for a team in the National Football League? I think the answer would be yes. But now that I'm really thinking about it, of the teams that have openings, where do you think Rodgers makes a lot of sense? I mean, he obviously can't go back to the Jets. It doesn't appear like he's going to go back to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And some of the teams that you would think would make sense, like the Raiders would make sense, but the Raiders have the number 1 overall pick, so you're going to start Mendoza next year. Where do we even think Aaron Rodgers could go if he wanted to come back as a starting quarterback next year? He's not going to Tennessee. He's not going to the Giants. Is he going to Atlanta to start next year? And they're going to remove Kirk Cousins and then bring in Aaron Rodgers? Like, you start to really run out of possible landing spots and destination for Rodgers if he even wants to play next year.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers is playing football next year, and I don't know if it's his age or all the stuff. Because one of the reasons why he chose Pittsburgh is he wanted to play for Mike Tomlin, and he wanted to work with Arthur Smith. It wasn't as, power grabby as he had it in New York, where he basically ran the offense by himself. But he kind of had, here's what I want in a head coach, and that's Mike Tomlin. Here's what I want in a coordinator, and that's Arthur Smith. What quarterback-needy team is going to do those things for a 40-plus-year-old Aaron Rodgers? Like, you're right, the Raiders are not a real option because they're going to take Mendoza. Then you can't go to the Jets. That's not going to happen. You can't go there. Like,
Vikings would make some sense. Remember, Vikings were interested last year.
True.
J.J. McCarthy did not have a great rookie season. Maybe Minnesota is that team. Indianapolis, depending on what happens with Daniel Jones.
I would rather have Daniel Jones
maybe
for Aaron
Indianapolis.
Rodgers,
They've already shown they like old guys. And Arizona. Those are the only ones to me that make sense.
And I think I actually would put Arizona in the nut. Doesn't make sense. Are you hiring a coach that checks the boxes for Aaron Rodgers at 41? I would hire a coach who, well, listen, if you hire a coach who ends up checking the boxes, cool. But I'm not the owner of the Arizona Cardinals going through the hiring process being like, so Aaron wants this. Do you check that box? I think it's basically Vikings retirement. Because you're right, I forgot about the Vikings. They have a relative need at quarterback. We know he flirted with them last year. Kevin O'Connell, for all his flaws, is known as a quarterback whisperer and a good offensive mind. He would presumably be a one-year deal, would not be comically expensive on your cap. J.J. McCarthy, even when he did play last year, was mediocre, but then when he didn't, he was hurt a lot. So I think it's Minnesota or retirement, just because if you start going through all the teams, not a lot of them are checking the boxes.
Right now, we've been talking about the top story, which is the opening right now for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Also, if you missed it, Dante Moore, the very talented quarterback from the University of Oregon, he has made the decision to return to school. He is not going to enter the NFL draft. Coming up on the other side, it is a pretty cool sports anniversary. We'll tell you what it is. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the divisional round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. You pick the matchups you believe in, take your shot on an upset, or build out a parlay that fits the moment. The Bills are underdogs on the road in Denver. The 49ers are massive 7-point dogs at Seattle. Then you can apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11120.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This afternoon, expect a sunny day with a high of 38.
Weather brought to you by Staples. 2026 is here, and at Staples, deals mean business. Like up to $100 off custom print orders. Head into the new year looking good for less. Staples. That was easy. Ends 1/31.
When severe weather hits, tune in to 98.1 KMBZ for Operation Stormwatch. Brought to you by Century Roofing. Proudly voted the #1 roofing company in all of Kansas City. CenturyRoofingKC.com. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
We got a brand new edition of Spec Says. We'll get to that coming up at the top of the hour. We've been talking a lot about Eric Bieniemy. Spectre wanted to weigh in and give us his thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. We'll play that for you coming up at the top of the hour. Today is the anniversary of one of the coolest plays in NFL history.
Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side, caught by Diggs. Stay up! Oh, my God! Oh, my God! 30! No! 10! Touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked up on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle.
I know it is not one of the most important plays in NFL history. It is one of the most incredible plays that we have ever seen. It is still one of the more unexplainable plays that I have ever seen. I still have no clue what the defensive player is doing in that scenario. Who cares if he catches the ball? You're not even trying to force an incompletion. Let him catch it, and when he comes to the ground, tackle him and make sure that he stays in bounds. Why are you going for the big hit? Why are you missing a tackle in this scenario, knowing you're the safety, knowing you're the last line of defense, and if you miss this tackle, what it could potentially mean? When you go back and you rewatch that play, it still doesn't make any sense how the Saints lost that game. You want to talk about a stretch of just absolute heartbreak? The Saints in back-to-back years lost on the Minneapolis Miracle, where they were maybe the best team in the NFC that year. The following year, Rob, was the NFC Championship game against the Rams with the no call when it comes to pass interference. So you want to talk about you not maximizing a chance to go to a second Super Bowl with Drew Brees. Man, the Saints had a chance to go to another Super Bowl, and one of the greatest plays in league history did you win, and then one of the worst calls in league history did you win. A really unfortunate stretch for the Saints that basically haven't been good since that moment.
Do historical moments like this have a little bit of a tarnish in your brain because the team doesn't cash in? Like, we know how the story ends. Like, Minnesota on the Minneapolis Miracle beats the Saints. That's awesome. What a great moment. They then go and they get walloped by the Eagles, like just smoked by the Eagles in the NFC Championship game, by Nick Foles' Eagles too. This was not like, a wild Eagles team. I guess they did win the Super Bowl. Like, do moments like that, like the Music City Miracle, like when that's so awesome, the Titans do this, well, they fall short of the Super Bowl. Do moments like this get a little bit of the brightness kind of rub off them because they fail to cash in the ticket?
I think it's different because Breeze already has one, so we just look at Breeze's career a little bit differently. Like, let's say that this was Josh Allen, and Josh Allen ends with no Super Bowls, and those are two of his losses. I just think we feel very differently about it. But the fact that Breeze got the one just always puts you in a different category, Drew Brees is kind of like Dirk Nowitzki. You know how it is in the NBA. Now, we don't consider Drew Brees to be an all-time historical great quarterback. He's a phenomenal QB, don't get me wrong. But we don't talk about him like he's Brady or Manning or Mahomes or Terry Bradshaw or one of those kind of guys. The same way that we don't talk about Dirk like he's Tim Duncan or Kobe or LeBron or one of them. But you get that one championship and you're in that Kevin Garnett conversation, that Paul Pierce conversation. It just changes the way that we feel about guys. So that's kind of where I think the Breeze is. The fact that he got that one early on in his career and is the reason why his team, and just turning around the Saints. The Saints have basically been bad every period other than when Drew Brees played for them. They were bad before Drew Brees got there, and then when Brees left, they got bad immediately afterwards. So I just think Brees just gets so much credit for turning that organization around, he and Sean Payton together.
Let's say that was Josh Allen. I know we're changing all the variables. Let's say that was Josh Allen who quarterbacked the Saints that day, and Josh Allen doesn't end up with the Super Bowl. Does it change your opinion on his legacy?
No.
Because Josh Allen...
He had enough chances to win a championship.
Because Josh Allen currently has that game on his resume, because the 13-second game and the Minneapolis Miracle are, the Spider-Man meme, the Leonardo DiCaprio. They're kind of the same. The one team had really no business winning that game over the road team, and it affected the legacy of the road team's quarterback. So I was curious why that you brought up Josh Allen, because what the Minneapolis Miracle is to Drew Brees is eerily similar to what the 13-second game is to Josh Allen. I guess the caveat is Case Keenum versus Patrick Mahomes, but they're pretty similar in historical context in that regard.
No, you're 100% accurate. I guess where I would disagree a little bit when it comes to Josh Allen is that 13-second game that you are alluding to, it happens when Josh Allen is 25 years old. This didn't happen to Josh Allen when he was 36 years old, and this was his last chance to win. The 13-second game was in 2021. Josh Allen is 25 years old. He still isn't 30 years old yet. You got other chances to win championships if you're Josh Allen. Your 25-year-old season should not be your only chance to win if people think that you're the best. We never consider Drew Brees to be the best quarterback in the league. Great quarterback. Hall of Fame quarterback. There was never a time where we argued that Drew Brees was the best quarterback in the league. People make that argument right now when it comes to Josh Allen. in a same NFL time period that Patrick Mahomes exists. So, no, I'm not giving him the Drew Brees protection. Now, if he gets his one, yeah, we can have that conversation, but I'm not ready to give him that yet. So this play happened 8 years ago. Today is the 8-year anniversary of this play. What's been the biggest play in the NFL since the Minneapolis Miracle, you would say, over the last 8 years?
Ooh, a singular play.
Just one play. If you had to say just one play since the Minneapolis Miracle, this has been the biggest play in the league since then. What would you say that play is? Because I actually think it's probably Jet Chip Wasp.
Oh, Philly special.
Was that after this?
It was that year. So the Vikings beat the Saints, then they lose the Eagles. The Eagles win the Super Bowl and beat the Patriots.
Yeah, you're right.
It's Philly
you're
special.
Right. That was 7 years ago.
Yeah, it's Philly special. Or Philly, whatever it was the throw to Nick Foles in the Super Bowl. No disrespect to Jet Chip Wasp, and that's a great play. I think Jet Chip Wasp only lives in the lore of Chiefs fans, where I think Philly special exists everywhere.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't think the other fans are talking about it, but if you were talking about completing a 4th down with less than 5 minutes to go in the Super Bowl, that's one of the great plays in league history. You're right. That was the same year. So the Minneapolis Miracle, that was January of 2018. The Philly special was that Super Bowl. So it was February. Funny enough, that Super Bowl was in Minneapolis. The Philly special happened in Minneapolis Stadium. That's example that you always get your one Super Bowl. That is for sure. Let me play this audio. Why don't we just keep it in the NFC South? Here is Dan Orlowski. He believes that the Falcons have the best job opening in the NFL.
I think the best available job when it comes to the ability to win now is Atlanta. I believe that this football team has got crazy amounts of talent. They've got an offensive line that's one of the 10 best offensive lines in football, really good receivers, really good tight end, one of the best players in football, a defense that's loaded with young athletic players. I understand that they don't have a quarterback right now because of the Michael Penix injury and the question mark attached to Kirk. I believe Kirk is going to get cut and then maybe re-sign type of thing. But I think if Kirk Cousins played this year in Atlanta, they would have 10, if not 11 wins. I think if he plays next year in Atlanta, they're a 10, 11-win team. But I just look at Atlanta with the addition of Matt Ryan in a division that's got some, long-term question marks. And if you can find a quarterback, I understand easier said than done, but if you can find good quarterback play in Atlanta with the young talent that they have, man, you can get good real fast.
Why are we doing this with Atlanta? Atlanta's the best job out there when Pittsburgh's available. Atlanta's the best job when Baltimore is available. I'm not even sure if Atlanta is one of the 5 best jobs that's out there, to be completely honest with you guys about it. I'd rather be the head coach in Pittsburgh. I'd rather be the head coach at Baltimore. The Raiders have the number 1 overall pick, and you can start over at quarterback and not take Michael Penix, who has worse knees than 2011 Derrick Rose. The Giants' job is better than Atlanta. Either you can make a strong argument that the Titans' job is better than Atlanta, too. They have Cam Ward. So if you believe in Cam Ward, they've got Cam Ward. They got $100 million in cap space, and they're moving into a new stadium, and they're in a winnable division. I'm not even sure if Atlanta is one of the 5 best jobs that is available. And Dan Orlowski telling me, Rob, that he thinks it's the best job that's available. I strongly disagree.
I do not believe it's the best job, but I think context here matters. If you're asking what the best job is, I agree with you. It's the Ravens. But I think the Falcons' job is the easiest to win your division in year 1. I think it's the most ready-made for success in year 1 outside of Baltimore.
I think you could probably argue that same thing for Tennessee. I mean, as good as the Houston's been, I wouldn't be surprised to see
I think
Tennessee win that division next year. We see that turnover in that division all the time.
I also think Atlanta's a more talented team than Tennessee, though. I think Tennessee has a better quarterback, but I think 2 through 53, you would take Atlanta's roster over Tennessee's. So we just saw an 8-9 team make the playoffs and win your division, the NFC South. It doesn't feel that far-fetched to believe you get the right coach and you tighten up quarterback play. You do have Drake London. You do have Bijan Robinson. You do have, a nice athletic defense. I'm not saying it's, wow, they're going to be 12-5 next year, but if you're looking to win a division in year 1, which creates some automatic stability, Atlanta's not a bad pick. I don't think it's 1-1, but I think it's a better job than you're giving it credit for.
Someone on the text line says that the Saquon hurdle has been the best play since the Minneapolis Miracle, which you won't hear any argument from me. I still don't know how in the world Saquon Barkley did that. It is amazing every time you see that. You're sitting there thinking, I've never seen a human being do this before. They've been playing NFL for 100 years. There's not a run in league history that looks anything like the one that Saquon Barkley had against Jacksonville last season. Coming up at the top of the hour, Spectre wanted to weigh in on Eric Bieniemy possibly, maybe, perhaps, being the offensive coordinator in Kansas City. We'll play it for you. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code FRESH to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code FRESH for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you feel embarrassed, trapped, maybe even ashamed just because you own a timeshare? Well, I'm here to tell you you're not alone. Chuck McDowell here, the timeshare cancellation guy. I get over 3,000 complaints a week from all kinds of folks that feel the same way you do. Honest people, teachers, veterans, grandparents, all losing sleep over a timeshare they can't get rid of. That's why 15 years ago, I founded Wesley Financial Group to help people take their lives back. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we would want our own family to be treated. That mindset has helped us cancel over 50,000 timeshares from people just like you. So if you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377. 800-261-3377.
Need to sell your house in Kansas City but not sure where to start? Selling a home can feel overwhelming, especially if you're facing foreclosure, a divorce, an inherited property you don't want, or just need to move quickly. But you don't have to figure it out alone. Rex Buys KC is here to help. As a local home buyer, I understand the Kansas City market inside and out. My family and I live right here, so I know the neighborhoods, the trends, and the challenges homeowners face. That's why I take a consultative approach, helping you explore your options and find the best path forward. We buy houses in any condition, no need for repairs, no agent commissions, and no hidden fees. You'll receive a fair cash offer with a closing timeline that works for you. Whether that's in as little as 7 days or at your own pace, just a simple, hassle-free process designed around your needs. If you're ready to talk through your options, call me today at 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Let's find the right solution for you. Rex Buys KC. Local, fair, and focused on you.
The world's largest sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circus Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circus Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circusports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
Presented by Robinhood.
He crosses, spins, pulls up.
With Robinhood Prediction Markets, buy or sell your predictions all game long. No house odds, just you versus the market. Put your sports IQ to work. Trade every shot, block, steal, run, and moment that shifts the game. With Robinhood Prediction Markets, trade every play. Visit Robinhood.com/predict to start trading. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline nasal spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it! Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
The Chiefs offseason show with Bob, Dusty, Cody, Alex, and CDOT is Tuesday, February 10th, starting at 9 a.m. right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City in Odyssey Sports Station.
Welcome back into the show. So we have been talking about Eric Bieniemy for the last couple of days because on Friday we had Nate Taylor on the show, and Nate Taylor said this. I asked him, if I gave you $1 million and told you to accurately predict who the Chiefs offensive coordinator would be, who would you pick?
I think Mike McDaniel should probably be a head coach somewhere next year, right? It will. I don't think it'll be Matt Nagy, so we can remove those two off the rip. Haven't heard Mike Kafka's name much. Flip of a coin. I think there's more advantages to the second person I'm going to mention. If there are more openings after this wild card round, I'm sure you know which coaches we're discussing or who might be, on a hot seat based on how their team performs in the opening round of the playoffs.
I'm going to guess that one of these jobs is coming open. That's just what I'm going to guess.
So if that happens and there are more available openings, Cliff Kingsbury might have a better chance of being a second-time head coach himself, which leads to probably, based on my estimation, the leader right now is Eric Bieniemy.
So that was Nate Taylor earlier, I guess last week, so late last week when we had him on the show. We've been talking about it, and Steven Spector came up to me today and said, you know what, I've got some thoughts on Eric Bieniemy. You guys have been talking about it. It's got my mind racing, so I've got some opinion. And I said, well, hop in the booth then, and we can have a special edition of Spec Says. Here's the latest edition.
All right, C-Dot, a lot of Eric Bieniemy chatter the last 2 days on the show, so I figured I'd throw my opinion out there since you seem to be such a proponent of bringing EB back to Kansas City. I do agree with you in premise that bringing Eric Bieniemy back to Kansas City is probably not the right decision. But I'll play devil's advocate, and it's a theory that I've had for quite a while. The ultimate goal of the next offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, his job should be tasked with getting the most out of Patrick Mahomes, because ultimately that's where the offense starts and ends. The next offensive coordinator needs to maximize the window that remains in Patrick Mahomes' career and arguably the window of Andy Reid continuing to be the head coach of this team. We all take coaching differently. Some people respond to yelling. Some people respond to a little bit more of a nurturing environment. Is it possible that Patrick Mahomes, for lack of a better term, needs a red ass as his offensive coordinator or quarterback coach? It's very hard to tell Patrick Mahomes or Andy Reid, you need to do this better, when both those guys have reached the pinnacle of their profession. And the one thing we do know about Eric Bieniemy is if your grandmother's cooking sucks, he'll tell your grandmother your cooking sucks. And maybe, just maybe, that's what Patrick Mahomes needs to work on footwork or pocket presence or the deep ball, the details, and someone to tell him, you can do this better. By all accounts, Patrick Mahomes and Matt Nagy had a great relationship, and that's probably true. But having a great relationship may not ultimately lead to you getting the most out of that player. There have been a lot of other team factors since Eric Bieniemy left. Depletion of weapons, depletion of offensive line. But there is a very clear line in the sand for me with an eye test of Patrick Mahomes' quarterback play before Eric Bieniemy left and after Eric Bieniemy left.
So that is the latest edition of Spec Says. Rob, I will let you go first on this because you have been in favor of this happening. You have been, hey, maybe it's not my number one. It would not be my ideal. This is not a bad option for offensive coordinator if the Chiefs walk down this path. What did you make of the latest version of Spec Says and his feelings towards Eric Bieniemy possibly returning as the Chiefs offensive coordinator?
Listen, I think this is a good example of what he is describing are things that we don't see in the building could be why Eric Bieniemy is good to get back into the building. I think also what he's describing is a different level of accountability. I like the way he said it, where if your grandma's cooking sucks, Eric Bieniemy will tell you your grandma's cooking sucks. I think this is a good take by Spec. I think this is a good idea by Spec. I think it's a good, you're connecting dots. Eric Bieniemy, we've literally seen have arguments on the sideline with Travis Kelce. We've literally seen on the sideline have arguments with Patrick Mahomes. We know from podcasting that LaShawn McCoy, not a fan of Eric Bieniemy because he was hard on him. We've seen social media clips that went viral from when Eric Bieniemy was the running back coach long time ago in Minnesota. You know who he was really hard on? Adrian Peterson. That is his style of coaching. I'm going to be difficult on you to try to get the best out of you. It doesn't work for everyone. It's not a one-size-fit-all. Different strokes, different folks. But it's possible that maybe, just maybe, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce are the type of players that respond to being told you're not good enough, do better at X, do better at Y, do better at Z. And the people in the building, because of the success that Kelce, Mahomes, Reed have had, are all kind of chummy, and maybe someone to say, nah, you guys suck is what the building needs. And we know Eric Bieniemy has no problem saying that to anyone because there's enough stories out there of him saying it to different levels of successful NFL players.
I think one important thing to note that the players that you mentioned are running backs, and Eric Bieniemy is a former running back. I've never once questioned his ability to get the most out of running backs. That is tried and true when it comes to this.
To be fair, he was hard on Travis Kelce on the sideline. We saw that. He plays tight end, so that's a little different.
This will be my question. Over the last 3 years, so during the Matt Nagy era as offensive coordinators, what are the areas or where do you think you started to see Patrick Mahomes slip? From Patrick Mahomes that won the 2 MVPs, from Patrick Mahomes that looked like a superhero, where have you seen Patrick Mahomes slip at in the last couple of years? Because I would say if you started to name those things, and then if I ask you the follow-up question, do you think Eric Bieniemy is the best person to help get Patrick Mahomes out of those problems? I think your answer is going to be no. I think Patrick Mahomes is bad at throwing the deep ball. I think Patrick Mahomes doesn't trust his offensive line and leaves the pocket early and anticipates pressure that is not there and loses his mechanics. I don't think that Eric Bieniemy can help him with that. I don't think that's his strength and weakness. This goes to the point that I was saying yesterday is you got to tell me what else you think Eric Bieniemy is good at other than accountability. If you are a wide receiver and speed is all you offer, you can't be a great wide receiver then if that's the case because there's other things that go into it. How's your route running? How's your hands? How's your downfield blocking? Everybody that tells me this on Eric Bieniemy tells me one characteristic that he has. We don't care about any of the other characteristics when it comes to offensive coordinator. Like I'm looking at the text line, deep ball, pocket presence, footwork. Do we think that Eric Bieniemy is the best offensive coordinator to help Patrick Mahomes with deep ball, pocket presence, and footwork? The answer is no. You know the answer is no when it comes to this. So if that's what we're saying, if those are the things and accuracy issues and those kind of things, and you're going to tell me the offensive coordinator that you hire has no ability to help your quarterback, then that's just not the best offensive coordinator for you, then if that's the case.
Let me ask you this, though. Based on those things, deep ball, accuracy, all the things you said, you would presume the best person to fix that is a former quarterback. Well,
that was what Nagy was.
Those things all slipped under a former quarterback.
I agree.
Those things, now it could be age, there could be other factors. Those things were fine. They were maybe not the best in the world, but they were fine under Eric Bieniemy. Then a quarterback got the reins at offensive coordinator, and those things started slipping. So maybe, just maybe, it's one of those, the best players aren't the best coaches. Maybe someone who didn't play the position but is willing to say, bad, do it again, is better suited than Matt Nagy, who will look at it and say, that he got the job done, on to the next. Because the things you're complaining about, a quarterback would know best, and a quarterback is the one that let those things slip.
Okay, that's fair. I just wanted to play today's Spec Says. We talked about this a lot this week. I do think right now that offensive coordinator is the number one question right now for the Chiefs. It's the number one storyline on those things. You guys know my stance. You know where I am when it comes to Eric Bieniemy. We haven't taken many phone calls on this. We got some time to do so. 913-586-7965. I feel like everybody's argument is out there when it comes to EB. You guys know my stance. Eric Bieniemy has some overwhelming strengths as someone to bring on to your staff. I don't think at this stage of Patrick Mahomes' career and development, I don't think he is the best offensive coordinator for Patrick Mahomes. And the things that I think Mahomes has struggled with the most, I don't think that those are Eric Bieniemy's abilities to help get you out of. Now, I'm seeing on the text line a bunch of different questions. Isn't this a quarterback coach? Isn't this kind of coach? Isn't that kind of coach? Well, then I just keep asking more and more then, what are we hiring Eric Bieniemy to do? Because it sounds like to me, you just want Eric Bieniemy to be a six-figure babysitter for the Kansas City Chiefs. He doesn't call plays. He can't help your quarterback. He's not new scheme guy. Is that what we're talking about then? We think things have gotten so bad and Andy is too much of a good cop that now the only purpose or the only reason to bring Eric Bieniemy is they need a field general sergeant, yell at you, wake you up at 5 o'clock in the morning, old school football guy. Because that's all I'm seeing for the last couple of days that we've been having this conversation. We can take your phone calls on this. We'll also continue to talk about the coaching cycle right now. There are 9 coaching vacancies in the National Football League. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. With every game day during the divisional round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. More boosts mean more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in. Take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moments. You guys know I'm taking the Patriots all the way to the big game. And you know what? I was impressed with San Francisco this weekend. All you need to do is apply your profit boost and go even bigger with payouts that keep the playoffs rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Fellas, listen up. It's 2026, and this is going to be your best year yet when it comes to sex. You know why? Because you're finally going to take the advice and try chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Blue Chew's tablets help you feel and perform at your best, stronger, harder, longer lasting, like someone gave your downstairs a pep talk in a gym membership. Be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew is a small chew for a big difference. You'll have flashbacks to your glory days, and dating has just got longer and better for everyone. Blue Chew's licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient for your individual prescription. Just like how we love to watch the athletes that we root for show up during the game's most exciting moments, you should be able to show up when it matters during life's most exciting moments. You can discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just got to cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Go to BlueChew.com, use the promo code KFNZ, and get your first month free. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
At LendSeek, we know running a business takes heart, hustle, and sometimes a little help. That's why we stand with you with our exclusive AI lending platform, connecting you to over 100 funders. If you've been in business for at least 2 years with a minimum annual revenue of $500,000, you can get up to $1 million in funding in as fast as 24 hours. No collateral, no prepayment penalties, no red tape. Apply today with no cost or obligation at lendseek.com. That's LENDSEEK.com.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around, or or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state, only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Okay, I have to tell you, I was just looking on eBay where I go for all kinds of things I love, and there it was.
That hologram trading card. One of the rarest. The last one I needed for my set. Shiny like the
designer handbag of my dreams. One of a kind. eBay had it, and now everyone's asking, ooh, where'd you get your
windshield wipers? eBay has all the parts that fit my car. No more annoying. Just beautiful.
Millions of finds, each with a story. eBay. Things people love.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a multi-car crash near downtown at 71 northbound, just past 22nd. Left lane is blocked. And then a two-car crash, Blue Springs, blocking the right lane, 70 westbound, past 7 Highway. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Planet, hours, amenities, and...
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Chris Jones from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. I feel like this week I've had to be anti-Eric Bieniemy guy, and I hate to be on the other side of Eric Bieniemy, but I just feel like somebody here has to remember how things used to be. Text line 913-586-7965. C-Dot, the proof is in the pudding. Look at the Chiefs' offense when they had Eric Bieniemy. Look at their offense since they lost Eric Bieniemy. Numbers don't lie. I would also argue that when Eric Bieniemy was here, they had a Hall of Fame tight end in the prime of his career, and they had a Hall of Fame wide receiver in the prime of his career, and he didn't call the plays. Man, Eric Bieniemy had one of the best jobs in the National Football League while that happened. That's an incredible job. The second thing I would push back on, because a lot of people have used the Josh McDaniels argument when it comes to him. This is where I think it's drastically different. The league thinks really, really highly of Josh McDaniels, like really highly on Josh McDaniels. Josh McDaniels has always been an offensive coordinator. You know that he's an offensive coordinator right now? Did you know that, Rob? Did you know that Josh McDaniels, he's Drake May's offensive coordinator? So a defensive-minded head coach went up to him and said, I've seen what you can do with quarterbacks. I don't think that Vrabel is doing the heavy lifting when it comes to Drake May. I think that's Josh McDaniels' job. Josh McDaniels' number one skill is not accountability. He's gotten 2 chances to be a head coach. He's failed at head coach, no question. But if you were saying what's Josh McDaniels' skill, he is good with quarterbacks. He is good with scheme and play calling. He is not the same as Eric Bieniemy. Not close to being the same with Eric Bieniemy. So that's where I just push back on it. I understand the comparison, but no one has been able to answer this question to me for the last 3 days as we've been having this conversation, Rob. You have to tell me why Eric Bieniemy's career has gone backwards since he left Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, and Andy Reid. Why his career has gone backwards. Josh McDaniels' career has not gone backwards since getting away from Bill Belichick. He's in the same place. He's a very successful offensive coordinator in the National Football League. I don't think Belichick was calling the offensive plays back in the day. I think it was Josh McDaniels. Now, you were doing it with Tom Brady, but I think he has now proven it with Drake May. Hey, man, maybe Josh McDaniels is a really good offensive coordinator. Maybe he doesn't have the personality to be in charge of things, but Tomorrow, if Josh McDaniels got fired as the New England Patriots head coach, let's say him and Mike Vrabel just couldn't get along and they fired him. Josh McDaniels would be an offensive coordinator immediately somewhere else. Someone else will take a chance. Why is no other team in the NFL these last 2 years taking a chance on Eric Bieniemy?
I think, and this is my theory, I don't think there's any right or wrong answer. I think one of the reasons why he works in Kansas City is his personality is maybe friction, and that friction gets the most out of the players in Kansas City. And I do not think the Chiefs players are Eric Bieniemy fans. I don't think they're like, man, that's my boy. We go out and do stuff after work. I think there is friction, and that generates the most heat in Kansas City. But that same friction doesn't work everywhere as a head coach. And it's to Speck's point from Speck Says, the coaching that Patrick Mahomes, the type of coaching that Patrick Mahomes needs, or Travis Kelce or whoever, is different than the type of coaching that, Jalen Hurts needs or that Kyler Murray needs. I don't think coaching is one size fits all. So my theory, because there is no answer to your question, there is no, hey, this is it, bing, bang, boom. My theory would be what potentially gets the most out of people in Kansas City is a turnoff for people outside of Kansas City and a turnoff for the guy that is the CEO of your company, which would be the head coaching job. Similar to Josh McDaniels, by the way.
I'm with you. This has been the best text we received all week about it. Carrington, you are coming from the perspective that you believe the Chiefs are looking for an actual offensive coordinator. Everyone knows they're not. So why not bring Eric back for the role while Andy calls the plays? Okay. That's a really, really good point. I want the Chiefs to hire a real offensive coordinator and will not just accept, well, that's not how they do it, so let's just bring back a hall monitor. That's not good enough for me. That's not good enough, in my opinion. So that's why I'm looking at it, well, why don't we have this conversation? Now, this text came in. C-Dot, do you forget when he went to Washington and they cried because he was too strict? Yeah, I remember that. He then got fired from that job and then got hired by UCLA. And then he got fired from that job in the middle of the college football season and then went back to being a running back coach. Let's not make it seem like some of the things that have happened to Eric Bieniemy in his coaching career have not been his own doing. He had a chance to go be a head coach at his alma mater and wanted to continue to be an offensive coordinator and pursue a dream of being a head coach. The NFL told you at every single turn, no, we don't think you were that. Now, I would love to stay in here with the brother. I would love to be here. It ain't like the NFL ain't hiring no black coaches. They're just not hiring you to be a black head coach. The NFL seems to have no problem with bringing Brian Flores back. Robert Saleh's going to get a job in the National Football League. I'm talking about guys who it is clear what they do. Robert Saleh is one of the best defensive coordinators in the National Football League. Brian Flores is one of the best defensive coordinators. Not a single person listening can tell me they think that Eric Bieniemy is one of the best offensive coordinators in the league. You cannot think that. Based on what? And why does nobody else in the league feel that way about Eric Bieniemy? Because if they did, he would be highly sought after right now. People feel that way about Mike McDaniel. People feel that way about Cliff Kingsbury. People feel that way about Josh McDaniels. No one feels this way about Eric Bieniemy. So why is he so coveted for one of the best offensive coordinator jobs in the league? In the league is what the Chiefs have. They have one of the best offensive coordinator jobs in the league. It is a pathway, regardless of how you feel when it comes to working for Andy Reid. If you become the Chiefs offensive coordinator, it is a pathway to you becoming a head coach in the league. Look at the last 5 offensive coordinators they've had. It got Doug Peterson a job. It got Matt Nagy a job. It's about to get Matt Nagy another job in the league. If you become the Chiefs offensive coordinator, you got a chance to become a head coach in the league. Why did it not work out for Eric Bieniemy that way? And I don't think the only answer is he's black. I think there's other answers, too, when it comes to Eric Bieniemy. Let's go to the phone lines. 913-586-7965. Gino called into the show. Hey, Gino, how you doing, man?
I'm good, Carrington. Appreciate you taking the call. Look, I'm with you, man. Bieniemy gets more praise, and Matt Nagy catches more stray arrows than anybody I've ever seen for 2 guys that don't call plays. When you think back to the EB era, the Chiefs' offensive line was one of the top 5 in the league, hands down, each year the EB was there. The Chiefs had Sammy Watkins to go around along with Tyreek, which they have not had two receivers of that caliber since, really, that have been able to stay healthy at least. He had a running game. He had all sorts of things that made the offense look great. When it comes to Mahomes today, he's been getting hit like crazy. It's not that hard to see what's going on with Patrick. He has no trust in his offensive line. He doesn't have a competent wide receiver core. And, you know, whenever you have those two massive glaring issues, that's going to make any play caller struggle, any offense struggle. Bringing EB back isn't going to do anything. If he'd been here the last 2 years, the problems would probably be worse because the players flat out just don't like him. If I remember correctly, I think there was quite a bit of talk towards the end of his tenure with the Chiefs the first time that he wasn't really liked in the building and that they didn't want him back. So it's just wild to me how many people think that EB is going to be this magic fix for the team. They still don't have good wide receivers. Their offensive line is still going to be a problem. Those are things that they need to address. They have to get a running back. You get all those things, that's going to make Patrick Mahomes look like he did in 2021, 2022 when he was lighting it up. You know, it's really not that hard to see.
I'm with you, Gino. I appreciate the phone call here. We can move on from Eric Bieniemy. I thought that was a really good phone call. I guess this is what I'll say about Bieniemy and how, at least for me, I am not giving him a pass on his personality. I would say we all know somebody like this. Do you know the person that just says they're brutally honest all the time? Like, that is their justification for everything that they say. But I would say a lot of times tone, your relationship with the person, all of these things factor in. We all have somebody who is brutally and bluntly honest with us, that when they say it, it comes from a place of love, it comes from a place of understanding, and it comes from I really want to see you be better. There also are people that come off that way and they justify it and they're just mean. You know what I mean? Like, they're just mean for the most part. So I guess where I push back on Bieniemy is I keep hearing that he's this tough coach. It's football. It's college football. It's the NFL. We think Bieniemy is the only mean coach that's out there. We think he's the only guy that's tough on guys. Why has his career not progressed? Why is he not taking the next step despite having so much success in his career as being a number two where nobody felt comfortable giving him a chance to be a number one? Why no one feels comfortable enough to give him his chance to run his own offense? He's never been in charge of anything. He was in charge of something for 7 months in Washington. He's almost 60. 7 months in Washington. He has been in charge of something. At some point, if Eric Bieniemy is the guy that you keep telling me that he is, and he's got all these characteristics, why is nobody allowing Eric Bieniemy and empowering him to put his own staff together, to go out here and man his own offense and to walk on his own? We think the only way that Eric Bieniemy can walk is standing next to Andy Reid? Then he's not that good of an offensive coordinator then, if that's the case. If that's the only way you can have success is standing next to Andy, then you're not that guy, in my opinion.
I think that sentence is where the Josh McDaniels analogy comes in. Because whatever it is about being a head coach, Josh McDaniels couldn't do it. But when he stands next to Vrabel Belichick in New England, it works. I will say this, and we do need to move on. I get this.
Yeah.
When Gino called in, and thank you for calling in, Gino, and said he wants to see the offense, Patrick Mahomes, get back to how he looked in 21-22, that was when Eric Bieniemy was offensive coordinator. So I feel like we look for reasons to knock the time where Bieniemy was offensive coordinator. Well, they had a running back when he was offensive coordinator. No, they didn't. They never had a running back that you were like, wow, they had that guy. It's because Eric Bieniemy elevated that player. Do you know who the receivers were in 2022? It was Kadarius Toney, who is now a SoundCloud rapper, MVS, who's somehow still in the NFL, and Sky Moore, who inexplicably is still in the NFL. That was the receiving group. So when people like Gino and you and the text line say, well, it's all just the talent and it's all just those things, that's why Mahomes looked that good then, it wasn't always Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, high-flying offense under the Patrick Mahomes era. He won an MVP and a Super Bowl throwing it to Kadarius Toney. Literally, the game-winning touchdown went to Kadarius Toney. Like, I think that's a little bit of coaching, but me and you were going to see this differently until eventually they announce someone.
Yeah, for sure.
And then when they do, we can argue some more because I have a hunch it's going to be Eric Bieniemy.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm always down to argue about this when it comes to it. So there are 9 coaching openings in the NFL. Eric Bieniemy not offered any of those. And so everybody's being offered jobs right now. Nobody seems to want Eric Bieniemy other than Kansas City. That also says something here. Mike Greenberg said that the Pittsburgh Steelers job, he says nobody wants it.
What he leaves behind For all of these fans who have been clamoring for this and suggesting that all we need to do is make a coaching change and we're going back to the days of the steel curtain and we're going to be winning Super Bowls every single year, what he leaves behind is a team with a ridiculously overpriced defense that is old and not nearly as good as the money would suggest. They leave behind a team that does not have a quarterback. Aaron Rodgers is not coming back, and if he does, he's going to be 43 years old. He leaves behind a team, whoever coach walks in there is walking into a situation where the expectation is you need to win playoff games. The previous coach was fired for not winning playoff games. So you're walking into a place with not good players, no quarterback situation to speak of, and the expectations from the fans are very high. To me, that is not a desirable job. So again, to Steeler fans, I love you. I love Pittsburgh. I love going there. Mike and Mike, the first place we ever made it was in Pittsburgh. They will always have a place in my heart. I'm telling you, be careful what you wish for, because I have lived the other side of this. I have lived being bad and will draft the quarterback, and then that quarterback is Zach Wilson, okay? I'm telling you right now, it doesn't always go that easily. They don't always turn out.
I think I'm on the other side of this. I think Pittsburgh is a phenomenal job. I understand chasing the quarterback, right? There's so few of them in the world. If you get a chance to get one of them, you take your chance with the quarterback and you figure everything else out. I also think in a lot of ways, you kind of got to chase the organization and you got to chase stability. You got to chase the boss that's going to empower you. You got to chase the team that attracts free agents. So I understand that right now, Pittsburgh doesn't have the immediate answer at quarterback the way that the Giants appear to have, or the way that Tennessee possibly appears to have. But Pittsburgh has incredibly strong ownership that has shown you they will be very, very patient with you if you get the job. And that's all I think you need. You can figure out the rest. I mean, it took Andy a little bit to get there, but it's not like the Chiefs ever bottomed out and then got Mahomes. No, they went and got a good head coach. They went and got a stable quarterback. They got their organization and their house in order. They did that for a little bit. Andy was never in danger of being fired, to the point where Andy got to get the general manager that he wanted. He started to get things in place, and then they collectively as a team put in to go get their quarterback, and they got right. Andy didn't take this job with the quarterback. Chiefs didn't have a quarterback when he took the job. No, he believed in the ownership. He believed in the people that were making the decisions. That's ultimately what matters. I mean, Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland. I mean, if you took that job, you got Baker Mayfield's a good quarterback right now. I'm not picking the Haslam family. They've not shown me an ability to win. They're not showing me that they can put the things in order to help give me all the tools that I need to go out and have success. So I understand. To me, if you were looking at it just solely through a 2026 lens, I think you're looking at it all wrong. There's a reason why some of these jobs keep coming open. There's a reason why Cleveland is always looking for a new head coach. There's a reason why the Giants have done this they've done this 3 times in the last 6 years. There's a reason why the Raiders keep doing this. I don't think they're well-run organizations. I think Pittsburgh is. So Pittsburgh would be near the top of my list. Let me get the right ownership group. Let me kind of get things in place. And let's make a smart swing to go get our quarterback. Because if you're the Rooney family, you got to understand at one point that's what you're going to have to do. I mean, that's how you got Ben Roethlisberger. You weren't terrible and got Big Ben. No, you were a decent team. You drafted a quarterback. You got it right. You got to know eventually you got to take that chance if you're the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, they've shown they're going to be patient and give you the time to go out and potentially find who that quarterback is. So I would take a chance on Pittsburgh. I think it's the best job that's available.
I'm just going to tell us on the podcast page, the Argue Hour, because I actually agree with Mike Greenberg. I don't think Pittsburgh's the best job. Now, I don't think it's the worst. I think the Browns' job is the worst job. I don't think that's close. I think the Raiders' job is worse. Like, I don't want this to come off like I think the Steelers are the worst job opening. I do not believe it's the best job available because of everything Mike Greenberg said. Carrington, you say, like, the Rooney family knows eventually you got to take a swing at quarterback. Have they taken one in 25 years?
Yeah, they took a...
Kenny Pickett at 19 is not a swing. They took Kenny Pickett at 19 overall.
Yeah, but I would consider that to be a swing. I would consider you drafting a quarterback in the first round a swing. Now, I mean, it didn't work out.
They didn't, to your Chiefs analogy, they didn't trade up to go get one of those type of guys. They didn't make a big swing. This was, if this happened in Kansas City, you would call it a swing, but not a big enough swing. So they've taken one small swing in 25 years of the position.
The reason I would disagree is, I mean, we've only seen the Chiefs take one swing in our entire lifetime. So I guess through this example, I'm with you. Denver took a swing. I mean, Denver drafted Bo Nix with the 12th overall pick. That's taking a legitimate swing at quarterback. No, it's not taking one at 3, but taking a quarterback at 12 is you taking a legitimate swing. Taking a quarterback at 19, taking Jackson Dart is a legitimate swing if you're the New York Giants. So yeah, you and I are just on different pages when it comes to that. So if you're telling me, if let's say they hire Kevin Stefanski, do I think they will give Kevin Stefanski veteran quarterbacks his entire time and never give him the opportunity with the 15th overall pick or trading up to go get their quarterback? I just don't believe that. They gave Mike Tomlin that shot. He just got it wrong.
I mean, outside of Kenny Pickett, that's what they did with Mike Tomlin. Like, now he inherited Big Ben, so okay, fine.
For sure.
That changes things.
Who also was not a top 10 pick, was drafted out of the top 10.
True. It's also a different regime. I mean, it was the same ownership group, but you get my point. Bill Cowher drafted him. I also think since then, and this is what my point was yesterday with Mike Tomlin, we are going to find out if ownership and management was advocating for 9-8 or if it was Mike Tomlin. We don't know the answer to that, because if it's ownership saying, we're the Steelers, we're a proud organization, we're not taking a step back, we're not going to do what the Patriots did, which is bottom out and then get the guy, and then here we go. If their plan is to be 10-7 every year, then I think they are going to go sign an Aaron Rodgers type, or they are going to go sign, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, that ilk, and then just, hey, get us in the playoffs and maybe we can catch some fire. If it's management, and we don't know the answer to that, if it's management that's making that edict, that's not a great job. Now, we don't know, but I feel like time has shown Mike Tomlin was given, and he had input on this, he was given rum-dums and has-beens at quarterback, and he did a great job making those guys 9-8, 10-7 every year. If that's the Steelers' edict, 9-8, 10-7, get us in the dance, we're a proud franchise, we're never going to be 4-13, then that's not a great job, because you're always starting from a position of you don't have the best quarterback and you're always going to be salary cap tied a little bit. And I do think this about Mike Greenberg's point. They have a lot of money invested on defense. I don't know that money is well invested on defense.
I agree with that.
Like, now, if you're going to tell me they're going to trade TJ Watt and burn it down, I think it's a very different atmosphere. But I just don't know they are willing to do that in Pittsburgh, because I've never seen them be bad in Pittsburgh.
And this is why I guess I don't know I think you and I agree for the most part. I mean, I'm looking at the NFC, and maybe you're saying you got to do it different during the AFC. I mean, San Francisco has a good quarterback that they have developed. They have created a great scheme around him and given him a great infrastructure. Philadelphia did not take a first-round swing at quarterback. They have a second-round pick at quarterback. They won a championship with that guy. The number 1 seed right now in the NFC is Seattle. Like, some of these teams that are positioned, you didn't need to be the number 1 overall pick. The Rams. The Rams have Matthew Stafford as their starting quarterback. They traded for Matthew Stafford. So that's what I'm saying is just pick the organization. We can figure out the quarterback situation down the line. We don't have to have the answer right now today. But to me, taking the Cleveland job because they're going to let you get the 4th overall pick to take your quarterback, I'm not invested in the Cleveland Browns organization. They just haven't shown me that they're going to give me the infrastructure, A, to build around the quarterback, and even if we get the quarterback like you got it with Baker Mayfield, you're just not going to give me the tools. The Jets had Sam Darnold as their starting quarterback. They blew it with Sam Darnold. All the success that Sam Darnold is having as a starting quarterback, maybe he could have had it if he had been drafted by a good organization in the very beginning, but he was drafted by the New York Jets, who stink.
I agree with your point. I think the major reason why I would consider the Pittsburgh job is ownership. But I think a lot of the things you're saying about why you would sign on with a good ownership, not a bad ownership, are things you would have said 4 or 5 years ago as to why you would never take the Lions job. And Dan Campbell took the Lions job and has turned it around. Even despite a down year, Dan Campbell has turned that franchise around.
For sure.
So, and this is the question that they will have to answer in the interview with whoever the coach is. How patient are you going to be? Because if I'm going into Pittsburgh and the expectation is 9-8 in the playoffs again, I don't know it's a great job. If I'm walking in the same way Dan Campbell walked into Detroit, which is, hey, tear it down to the studs, build a culture, and then truly build something special here, the way Dan Campbell did in Detroit, then I think it is a desirable job. But that's the part I can't answer. And is ownership willing to be patient for an organization that has never had to experience patience before?
I have been asked this question multiple times on the text line. I'll give you my answer coming up in a bit. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, I would trade our first round pick for TJ Watt. Somebody else said, hey, CDOT, would you trade this year's number 1 for TJ Watt? You know what? I'll answer that question on the other side. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison.
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
On your home for Chiefs football, 96.5, The Fan.
Bush returns to headline this spring with a killer lineup based on music from their critically acclaimed new album, I Beat Loneliness. The Land of Milk and Honey Tour with special guests Mammoth and James and the Cold Gun. In a show bound to rock as hard as it sounds. Friday, May 8th, Azura Amphitheater. Tickets on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. at Ticketmaster. Bush, produced by Mammoth.
Hey, Blues fans, ready to take your excitement to the next level? BetMGM is now available in Missouri, so shoot your shot with an official sports betting partner of the St. Louis Blues. Discover exciting Blues matchups by downloading the BetMGM app and getting instant access to a variety of parlay selection features and live betting options. Enjoy same-game parlays, boosted odds specials, the best daily promotions in the business, and so much more when you sign up. The chase is on for next Stanley Cup, so get hyped for the Blues action all season long with the official sports betting partner of the St. Louis Blues. BetMGM. Now available in Missouri. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Please gamble responsibly.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
You like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. Not, but wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
What if sports were traded like markets? Now you can test your sports IQ in real time with Robinhood Prediction Markets. It's not you against the house. It's you participating in a live market. You can buy or sell your positions all game long. You know the game. Put it to use. Trade every play with Robinhood. Download the app today. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives, LLC, a registered Futures Commission merchant and swap firm.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know that you can watch all your favorite shows right on YouTube? We're live streaming Fesco and Dusty, Cody and Gold, The Drive, and After Hours all day long. So if you want to look at the beautiful Alex Gold, interact with Cody Tapp in the chat, or gaze at the ruggedly handsome Dusty Likens, just go to YouTube and watch them while you pretend to work. Go to our channel, hit subscribe, and stay up to date with 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
You've got a crash now, 35 southbound just past Mission, blocking the right lane, and the multi-car crash still working near downtown. 71 northbound just past 22nd to the left lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison on 96.5 The Fan and the Odyssey app.
I want to answer this question on the text line. This was not planned. I want to answer this question because I want, if you are listening, before you ask a question like this, again, I just want you to refer to this answer. Now, I think it's a good question, honestly. I think it's a good question. The Chiefs have a very valuable draft pick, and TJ Watt is a great player. C-Dot, I would trade our number 1 overall pick to bring TJ Watt to Kansas City. Somebody else said, trade for TJ Watt. I want this to be as clear and concise as humanly possible. I, under no realistic circumstance, am interested in trading a top 10 pick for a current player in the National Football League. Well, what about it includes them too? No. How do you acquire Myles Garrett? You draft him. How do you acquire TJ Watt? How do you get Will Anderson Jr.? You draft those players. Now, I'm not saying those guys are in this year's draft class, and we will find out. I'm sure you like somebody and somebody else likes somebody else. I'm not at the mock draft. My brain's not there yet. My brain is at hire an offensive coordinator, and then we could start to have some other conversations about the team. There is no player that you could suggest to me on the text line that I would say, oh, yeah, that's a good idea. They should trade the 9th overall pick for. This is not a knock on TJ Watt. He is a phenomenal player. 6 times he has been an All-Pro. He has won Defensive Player of the Year. He has a legitimate Hall of Fame argument. He is 31 years old. He'll be 32 years old probably by the time Patrick Mahomes will be back on the football field. He has had a litany of injuries over the last handful of seasons. The answer is no on TJ Watt. No. I'm not trading the opportunity to select a 22-year-old for the opportunity to have a 32-year-old on the team. The Chiefs don't need older players on their team. No, that is not what they need. They need guys between the ages of 22 and 25. So if your idea does not suggest them figuring out ways to get more players between the ages of 22 and 25, please don't ask them to me, because I'm going to give you the same answer every time. Oh, Carrington, you're a broken record, beating a dead horse. I am. Don't throw any more trade scenarios out for number 9 other than how can they move up to go get this guy? You could sign me up for that. If you're telling me that they like the Reese kid from Ohio State and they're just going to go all in and they're going to move up to number 5 to go get the pass rusher of their dreams, I'm willing to have that conversation with you. But if it is, how can the Chiefs take a very talented 22-year-old and turn him into a 31-year-old player? I'm not interested in that conversation. No, I don't care who it is. I don't care who you can suggest. The answer is no.
It absolutely warms my heart, like you wouldn't believe back here, that you are now valuing draft picks the way I do. It just...
But hold on though. But
I love it.
No, the difference is you value 30 more than I value 30. They have number 9. So someone's saying you're trolling. No, I would not trade right now. If the Atlanta Falcons called and offered the number 9 pick for Bijan Robinson, I would tell them no. If Jahmyr Gibbs was offered for the 9th overall pick, I would tell them no for Jahmyr Gibbs. There's not a realistic trade in the league that I would make for the 9th overall pick. You got a chance to take a really good player. You guys are sitting here telling me how good this Atlanta job is. You want to know why the Atlanta job is so good? Because they've been stockpiling the 9th overall pick. That's how they got Bijan Robinson. That's how they got Drake London. That's how they got Kyle Pitts. That's why the Atlanta job is good, is because they've been okay, I guess, where they haven't been completely terrible, where they could get the number 1 overall pick, but they haven't been consistently good enough to make the playoffs. So, yeah, you can get a really good player at number 9. So, no, there's not a realistic trade that I would make for the 9th overall pick. There's not a single player in the league I would give up that possibility to go get that player, 100%.
I agree with you 100%. I also think, I don't want to speak for you on your take, one of the reasons you feel that way is, as the text line likes to point out hypotheticals, any hypothetical you are right now in your car texting the show, what about this guy for number 9? 99% of the players that you are texting in are not available for the 9th pick.
Yeah, so some of these are like right here, like saying an automatic no for a hypothetical trade with Will Anderson for Chris Jones in the pick. Well, what are we doing here? We're now creating fantasy trades? Like, there is no, I said realistic trades. You know what's not happening? The Houston Texans are not taking one of the 3 best defensive players in the league for the 9th overall pick in Chris Jones. Like, what are we doing here? This ain't Madden. A realistic trade. No is what I would say. No.
Look what it cost. No. Look what it cost the year the Bears moved down for the Panthers to move up, 2 spots to get Bryce Young? A handful of spots to get Bryce Young? I don't remember that. It was an absolute haul. So, yeah, the 9th overall pick singularly is not getting Justin Jefferson.
The text line has found one player. Will Anderson, I would listen.
Yeah, but
I'm saying, okay, you're right. I did say there's not a current player in the league. Will Anderson is one of the few players in the league that if I was offered just a straight up 9th overall pick to take Will Anderson, I would trade the 9th overall pick for Will Anderson. I don't think he's available, I'm with you.
Well, you're right. Yeah, if Will Anderson is straight up for 9, then yeah, you have to take that trade. But that's like saying hey, Sidney Sweeney hit on me at a bar. Here's how to respond. It's never happening.
Yeah, Who cares? So no, I want to be clear. Let me go back because at first I did say realistic trade, and you're right, 100%. There is not a realistic trade I would make a 1-for-1 for the 9th overall pick. There is not a realistic player that could be available for the 9th overall pick. And there are very, very limited players, very, very limited players that I would take. Someone said, you brought up Jahmyr Gibbs. Somebody else said Jahmyr Gibbs. I would not trade the 9th overall pick for Jahmyr Gibbs. Not at all. Actually, I don't even know if there's a player on offense I would trade for the 9th overall pick right now. Like, there's not a receiver I wouldn't take Justin Jefferson. I wouldn't trade Jamar Chase. There's not a player I would trade on offense for the number 9 overall pick, actually.
No one that would readily be available. I also think, and I'm trying not to get sucked
I'm really trying to think about it. Now, honestly, really trying to think about it. Will Anderson might be the only player I would even consider trading the 9th overall pick for. Straight up, just here, give me 9, I take that guy. He might be the only one just straight up.
Part of that, too, is a rookie contract.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And his age. Yeah, his production and age, 100%. Yeah, like, Myles Garrett's phenomenal, but he's 30 years old. No, I'm not trading the 9th overall pick for 30 years old.
Like, I don't want to get sucked down this wormhole. With
This is actually, I love a good hypothetical trade. Now I'm really thinking about who I would trade for 9.
I also think the text line thinks just a player for 9.
Somebody said
Puka
Nacua. Thing. I actually would not trade the 9th overall pick for Puka Nacua. I would not trade the 9th overall pick for him.
I don't think the Rams would trade the 9th overall pick for him.
No, I agree.
I think fans undersell the king's ransom it takes to get players off of rosters. Like, the same text.
I'm actually surprised at how many people on the text line would trade the 9th overall pick for a running back. I'm actually really, really surprised if that's the case.
Actually,
I'm stunned that that's the case. Like, if you were saying you'd take Jahmyr Gibbs with the 9th overall pick, I would say just draft Jeremiah Love.
I would be anti both, but yes, I agree. Conceptually.
Somebody said JSN. I would not take the 9th overall pick for JSN. Actually, no, I wouldn't trade for him.
Yeah, you can have Cardinal Tate, who there's a lineage of Ohio State successes. Like you might like. The next JSN might be available at 9. The next TJ Watt might be available at 9. You take the risk of that player at 22 for 5 years of nothing money over absorbing the mega deal.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm 100% with you. Yeah, the 9th overall pick. I guess maybe where I'm coming in from the 9th overall pick is the Chiefs have the chance to take a really, really good player at 9. Like, it's kind of hard to miss at 9. I'm sorry. Like, we can go through the range of 9, like not just at 9, but obviously like 10, 11, like you have the chance to take those players. Like, we can go through it at the top of the hour. I think you guys are underestimating how hard it is to miss at 9 if you're just competent. If you're a competent organization, you don't miss at 9. You got a chance to take a really, really good player at 9. That's why whenever we were having the conversation about whether they should lose, I was like, I don't care. Like, if you're going to pick 8 to 11, it's really, really hard to miss if you think the people running it are smart. I think the people running the Chiefs are smart. I think they got off track for a little bit, and they had a bad offseason and a bad free agency. I don't think they're dumb by any means. I don't think you can build everything that they've built by being dumb. It's really hard to miss at 9. It's really, really difficult to miss. So, yeah, I would just keep 9. I would just take a really, really good player. And that guy's going to turn out to be a very, very good player.
I feel like we have these conversations in baseball more often because prospects are different than draft picks. I'm just surprised, man, at people that would give up cost control young player who's a difference maker for 5 years to get aging, older contract guy. Like, just conceptually, that very much confuses me, but maybe this is where me and the text line differ. I think the text line is with these hypothetical trades feels like they're one established player from being back in the Super Bowl, where I feel like they have a lot more needs than just one singular entity can fix. So I'm not willing to give up a king's ransom to get a singular entity. That's maybe where me and the text line are disagreeing the most right now.
Yeah, and like people are bringing up like individual examples about like that player, like, oh, well, this team missed at 9. But again, it's really difficult. You're right. Cincinnati, with the 9th overall pick, they took John Ross. They could have taken Patrick Mahomes. He was the next pick after him. It's not like the NFL barred Cincinnati from taking. That's what I'm saying is you got to really go out of your way to miss. And Cincinnati, bad organization, they went out of their way. They went out of their way to miss. Think about the picks around John Ross. Christian McCaffrey was number 8. Patrick Mahomes was number 10. Marshawn Lattimore was number 11. Deshaun Watson was number 12. Like, Cincinnati went out of their way to miss on John Ross. When at the time, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they? Who was their quarterback? Did they have Andy Dalton still?
Andy Dalton was their quarterback.
So you still had Andy Dalton as your quarterback. You had a chance to take Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, and you passed on both of them to take a failed wide receiver. You will have a chance. You will absolutely have a chance to take a really good player at number 9. If you miss, then you get fired. You get fired if you miss at 9. I'm sorry, you cannot miss at 9 and keep your job. It's really hard. I would actually say that's actually one of the easier places in the draft to have success. We can do it at the top of the hour. We can look at some of these drafts. I'm telling you, it's really, really difficult to miss at 9 unless you are purposely trying. And the teams that miss at 9 are usually the teams that you don't think are very good at drafting players. We'll talk about it next. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Multi-car crash now Blue Springs, 70 westbound as you approach 7 Highway. Be prepared to tap your brakes. Another multi-car crash near downtown, 71 northbound just past 22nd in the left lane. Southbound 35 past Mission. That crash still blocking the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. With every game day during the divisional round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you right there in the app. More boosts mean more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in. Take your shot on an upset or build a parlay that fits the moments. You guys know I'm taking the Patriots all the way to the big game. And you know what? I was impressed with San Francisco this weekend. All you need to do is apply your profit boost and go even bigger with payouts that keep the playoffs rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local. Grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. Must be 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issue is non-withdrawable profit boost token. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Let's talk about the buying experience at Lewisburg Ford.
It's the best anywhere. Just ask all our customers, Toby. It is hands down the best experience you can have buying a new car. We have the no-hassle Toby Tobin price that we've had for over 45 years now. Nobody else can say that. We've been saving Kansas City thousands and thousands of dollars for a lot of years.
I have been buying Ford cars and trucks from Lewisburg Ford for over 30 years. And I know personally this is the best place to buy a Ford car or truck. Great prices, but there's a whole lot more than that.
It doesn't just stop at price, Toby.
Yeah.
There's other factors to this equation, and it's trade-in allowance, financing, and the experience of how knowledgeable the people are that you're dealing with. And we surpass everybody in all those areas. We always have. We always will. That's why calling us is important.
Do you have that new pickup?
Absolutely. And it's dynamite.
Okay. Lewisburg Ford is your best place to buy a Ford car or truck. What's your toll-free number?
816-444-2300.
Lewisburg Ford or LewisburgFord.com.
Progressive knows there are two things RV owners love: to travel and relax. And they like to take both nice and slow. Just like this commercial. And what's more relaxing than the peace of mind knowing their RV is protected by Progressive? Now here comes the fast part. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
This message is brought to you by Pizza Hut, because if you're yelling hot on Sundays, why not yell pizza first, Jonas?
I mean, that's what I'm saying, man, especially when it comes to Pizza Hut. It's so good.
How about the Big New Yorker, Jonas? That's right. It's their biggest pizza, bro. And right now, it's just $10.
I mean, LeVar, that just smells and tastes like success. And for only $10, sign me up.
Before the first hut, grab the Big New Yorker and you're set for the whole game.
When it comes to affordable term life insurance, everyone's whistling the Big Lou tune. If you're over 50, maybe a bit porky, or have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost about $200 a month. Even if you're not in perfect health, call Big Lou, because he specializes in finding big chunks of affordable term life insurance for just about everyone. Don't let diabetes or other health glitches keep you from owning $500,000 to $1 million or more of term life insurance. For affordable term life insurance, call Big Lou. Don't hesitate. Call 800-700-6898, 800-700-6898, or visit biglou.com.
Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Call Big Lou, don't hesitate, 800-700-6898. Visit biglou.com.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, this is a fun conversation. So somebody has texted in when I trade for TJ Watt, and then we started arguing, and it was a mess. So I said there aren't many established players in the league that I would trade for. Someone said I would trade for Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson, Chase, C-Dot, you tripping. Good thing you're not the GM. You want cost control. I'm going to always select players over picks. This is where I would like to point out most of the players that you guys are going to name, they were drafted by their team. I don't even think this is an opinion. I think this is a fact. If you select at 9, you got a chance to get a superstar. You don't really have a chance to get a superstar at 31. That guy might become one, but that's not really what you're thinking at 30, where the Chiefs usually pick. You're not thinking of drafting superstars in the second round or the third round. Again, I'm not saying you can't become a superstar. Puka Nacua was drafted in the 5th round. You can absolutely become one. Man, if you selected 10, you got a chance to take a really good college player that from day one can step in and help. For the last, 6 years with the Chiefs, all of these first-round picks, we keep talking about like they're projects, or we're going to draft a redshirt guy. Not at 9. You ain't drafting a redshirt guy. You got a chance to get Patrick Surtain if you pick at 9, and a guy who can instantly step in and be the best corner in the National Football League. You got a chance to draft Derek Stingley. You got a chance to get Quinnen Williams. I'm talking Micah Parsons. You got a chance to draft a legitimate superstar. So at least for me, there are not many players in the league that I would give up the opportunity. Why would I take your superstar who you've already paid or is a little bit older and dealt with injuries over having the ability to take our own superstar? And this is where I would just, now that we're having this conversation, I'm happy to have the conversation. If you were only saying, well, who's all gone at 9? I think you're looking at it wrong. Well, if you're available at 9, then you're also available there at 10 and 11. You can take those. There aren't many players in front of you that can dictate the board and tell you what to do. Very differently at 30. Very differently at 32. At 32, you're hoping the board breaks right. You're just hoping and praying that Josh Simmons falls to you and it's the right combination of players. No, that's not really the case. You can kind of go in any possible direction. So I bring up the John Ross analogy because someone's like, what about Cincinnati? They took John Ross at wide receiver. Yeah, you can. No one's saying you can't miss at 9, but literally if Cincinnati had taken any of the 4 players after them, they'd have been in a much better situation. Patrick Mahomes, Marshawn Lattimore, Deshaun Watson, Hassan Riddick. I'm talking about best quarterback of his generation. At one point, before we found out he was Mr. Nasty Man, Deshaun Watson was a superstar quarterback, and Hassan Riddick was a legitimate pass rusher in the league. The Chiefs have that ability in 2 months, 3 months to go get that guy. So, yeah, there aren't many scenarios in which I'd be fine with, hey, we're going to forego our opportunity to take one of those guys that could be a 10-year starter, guy that you can buy his jersey on day one, and you'll have that jersey for the next decade and feel proud to wear it. There just aren't many scenarios in which I would want to trade that guy, because every player that you guys keep naming, some team did that. Jackson Smith-Njigba was drafted. He was drafted for the 15th overall pick. You got a chance to take Jackson Smith-Njigba. You got a chance to take T.J. Watt, who was the 30th pick in the NFL draft back in 2017. You have the opportunity to take these players, and you will not have a whole lot of these opportunities. I'm not really expecting the Chiefs to be selecting 9th overall a whole lot. I'm hoping that next year they go back to its normal and they pick 28th and 29th. You got a chance to go get David Bailey right now, who could be one of the best defensive players in the league. You got a chance to go get Bain Jr. out of Miami. You got a chance to get a kind of prospect that you never have the opportunity to go get. So, scout, go to the combine, go to the Senior Bowl, do all the stuff you're supposed to do in the draft, but find the superstar out of that group, take them, and win games with them.
Also, I want to credit the texter here. They did the hard work for us. Someone pulled up the 9th overall pick and who it's been post John Ross. Mike McGlinchey, who's a starting tackle in the league. Ed Oliver, who's when healthy, a really good defensive tackle. C.J. Henderson's a miss. Patrick Surtain, Charles Cross is a good tackle. Jalen Carter's a dog. Roman Dunzier. That's a last, handful of number 9 overall picks if you're going to get hung up on the minutia of number 9. If you were to give me a 80% chance.
But really, sorry to cut you off, though. And this is what I'm saying about the 9th overall pick. I just want to be clear about this. Yes, Seattle took Charles Cross. Man, the next 5 picks you'd be happy with. You'd be happy with Garrett Wilson. You'd be happy with Garrett Olave. You'd be happy with Jamison Williams. You'd be happy with Jordan Davis. You'd be happy with Kyle Hamilton. That's what I mean. Man, it's hard to miss at 9 just because of the possibilities and the kinds of players who are available to you. So the guy that goes 10, we can't like, oh, man, what about that? No, you could have got that guy. You had the opportunity. You chose wrong, but you certainly had the opportunity to take him. So that's where I'm saying at 9. If we look at the teams and the organizations over the last 10 years that missed at 9, it's normally the teams that do not draft well and historically pick in the top 10. It's hard to get a good organization and you just outright miss a top 10 pick. It's really, really hard to do.
And my point was this. I understand your point. I didn't mean to change subject a little bit.
You're good. You're good.
My point is this. Of the last 5 number 9 overall picks, 4 are dudes that you would absolutely 1,000% take on the Chiefs. Like, if you're telling me there's an 80% chance based on 9 singularly of drafting a dog, you take that chance because you get 5 years of them. I know Charles Cross, not a household name. He's got $100 million from the Seahawks be their left tackle forever. He's a really good left tackle. And Oliver, great player.
And to add what you were saying is you are hoping that Josh Simmons turns out to be Charles Cross. That's what you're hoping. Like, if you're saying right now, you press the button, who do you want Josh Simmons to be? You hope that Josh Simmons turns out to be Charles Cross. You hope that he turns out to be an all-pro caliber left tackle who you want to give a $100 million contract to, and that's who the Seahawks took with the 9th overall pick back in 2022.
And just based on, like I said, I did not pull the research. We didn't plan this segment. It just popped up. Texter point out the players. Ed Oliver, you'd absolutely take. Now, there are different, degrees of success. You'd much rather be in the draft for Pat Surtain's at 9 than, Ed Oliver, but you would absolutely take Pat Surtain at number 9 overall. So I understand your point that there's always good players available at 9, but if you really drilled down and said, who's the number 9 overall pick, let's look at those. Even that exercise shows there's more hits than misses. The people that miss, it happens sometimes. That's a draft. That can happen at any position. Like, I bet if we pulled, where are people drafting at 24 or 4? There are as many misses as hits, but the earlier you get in the draft, the higher your chance of success.
Yeah, someone on the text line says, you guys always talk about how random the draft is. Now you would take the hope over the certainty. I don't think it's nearly as random at the top. The Chiefs, they haven't taken an elite college football player in a very good time. Xavier Worthy is a good college football player. Don't get me wrong. He was a good college football player. Nobody considered Xavier Worthy to be an elite college football player. That's why he went in the mid-20s to late 20s. He wasn't an elite college football player. You know where you get elite college football players at? Picking high in the draft. That's why when we had the conversation about Devontae Smith, I'm like, you guys are underestimating how good Devontae Smith was. To be his size and to be a top 12 pick, you got to be a really, really good college player. He was. That's the difference. That's the difference in quality of person you get. You can get Devontae Smith if you pick 12. You can get Xavier Worthy if you pick 28. So you're not getting George Karlaftis was a good college football player. He wasn't an elite college football player. You want to know how I know? He got picked in the 20s. If he was an elite, if he was one of those guys at pass rusher, he'd have been picked at 8th. If he was one of those guys in college. So to me, that's the difference is. The difference is Jamar Chase, that elite college wide receiver who was so good at college that says, I don't want to play in the COVID year and I'll still be a top 5 pick. Those guys are not available to you at 17. Those guys are not available to you at 22 or where the Chiefs have been selecting. They got maybe their one opportunity in the Patrick Mahomes era to select up there. So, yeah, I'm taking it. It would have to be the almost ideal, perfect scenario for me to forego using the opportunity to use the 9th overall pick to possibly select one of those players.
I also think, and I'm trying not to get in the weeds of the conversation, a lot of the players that you would probably consider becomes a real cap conversation, a real cap problem. Not that Chiefs are poor and don't have money, but trading for JSN, just as an example on the text line, you're then trading for him to give him a $125 million contract, which has ramifications down the line for team building more than just we got JSN for number 9. So those are the things that go into this. You're hoping to find your own JSN, your own Jamar Gibbs, your own Jamar Chase, like your own player of that caliber. You had the numbers yesterday talking about first-round picks. 5 years of $60 million? That's what you want to get out of number 9 overall. You don't want to get, Max Crosby for the highest defensive contract in the NFL right now. That's not good team building, especially considering the Chiefs are more than one player away from being back in the Super Bowl.
Someone said, "C-Dot, why are you throwing shade at Xavier Worthy?" I don't think I've thrown shade at Xavier Worthy. He was a good college football player that got picked in the first round. He is. That's just the truth. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, we can go through his college football career. He had one season in which he had 1,000 yards. He was slightly over 1,000 yards. He was a really fast player. He wasn't great. I mean, we watch college football. He's a great college football player.
A.D. Mitchell was the higher prospect on that team.
Yeah.
Now, you could argue if that was correct or right or wrong, but A.D. Mitchell was the guy on that Texas team that people were talking about like, oh, he's 100%. The next up.
And I would also he wasn't a great college football player.
But my point is like, he was the better one. He was the one we talked about more at the college level than Xavier Worthy. 100%. Xavier Worthy can run straight line fast type of guy.
I'm talking about like Jeremiah Smith. Jeremiah Smith's a great college football player. You ain't getting Jeremiah Smith at 31. You better be selected in the top 30.
Marvin Harrison Jr. hasn't hit, but Marvin Harrison Jr. was a great college football player.
Elite college football player. You got a chance to take one of those kind of guys. You should take one of those kind of guys. Coming up on the other side, we got more stadium nonsense. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Sunday in the Pro Football Playoffs, trip to the Conference Championship game on the line in the NFC. Los Angeles, a 3.5-point road favorite at Chicago. Total in the game is 49. It's going to be freezing cold at this game, and Chicago has drawn some early betting action, but I like Los Angeles to win this game, and I like Los Angeles to cover the spread. Now, I am a little worried about Los Angeles' secondary, but I think LA's going to be able to score enough points, grind the game out on the ground, and I do trust LA's pass rush. So coming up on Sunday in the NFC, give me LA laying 3.5 at Chicago. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Start the new year by moving, not hurting. If joint pain's holding you back, then listen up. There's a way to get real relief without surgery, without downtime, and without putting your life on pause. QC Kinetics delivers regenerative treatments that actually help your body repair the areas causing you pain. Those achy knees, hips, shoulders, your back, wherever it hurts. Instead of facing an invasive operation that sidelines you for months, these treatments happen right in the office and you go about your day. Skip the 3 to 6 months of recovery. Skip the pain. Skip the invasive surgery. Imagine this instead. You're moving stronger and better and planning the year you want. Game-changing regenerative treatments from QC Kinetics. January is supposed to be your clean slate, so make it one. Stop managing the pain and start solving it with QC Kinetics. Call now for your free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WebNow1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Revitalize your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery during our bath savings event. Plus, get up to 40% off select shower heads. No matter what style you're looking for, we've got you covered. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
Never have I ever called my sister from the finish line of my first marathon. Hello? You won't believe where I am. Are you running? Mile 26. I'm gonna make it.
Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e with its advanced camera system on us. Plus, 2 lines for just $30 a line.
Guys, I can't believe it.
I knew you could do it, babe.
That was amazing. Mom, how do you feel? I feel great. I can't feel my feet. Let's take a picture. And then you may carry me to the car.
Share every stride, every mile, every memory on America's best network. Switch to T-Mobile's 55 Plus plan and get iPhone 16e on us and 2 lines for just $30 a line.
With 24 monthly bill credits and 2 eligible port-ins on Essentials 55 Plus for well-qualified customers with autopay plus taxes, fees, and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Contact us. Finance agreement 128 gigabytes, $599.99 required. Best mobile network in the U.S. based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data 1H 2025. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Crash working 435 northbound at State Avenue. Right lane is blocked. And then 435 southbound as you approach 70 eastbound. Right lane blocked by a stall. So big delays in that area. Lee Summit, a problem on the curve. Left lane blocked. 470 westbound past 90. Multi-car crash still working. Blue Springs 70 westbound on the ramp to 7 Highway. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Michael Waka. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, this is the analogy I'll make to kick off this segment. Have you ever gone over somebody's house or gotten in somebody's car and everything that you had thought about them just started to make so much more sense? Like, have you gone over somebody's house and they are just a neat freak? And then you go over somebody's house and they are the exact opposite. It's just chaos over there. And just maybe conversations you've had, experiences with that person, it all started to make sense once you saw their living space. The reason I bring that analogy up is the Chiefs and the Royals have had the same situation. Both of them want our money and want to spend our money to pay for their stadium. They have both handled it very, very differently. And now in seeing the way that they have handled it, it makes sense to me why the Chiefs are the organization that they've been for the last decade. Doesn't it kind of explain why the Royals have never really had prolonged success in really any of our lifetime, and how the Royals have kind of struggled in some areas? Like when you think about how the Chiefs just played it, very low key, very close to the vest. The Chiefs didn't let 5-6 different ideas get out and leaked. There wasn't a whole lot of information and people talking going on behind the scenes. There weren't any rendering. It was just, we're going to negotiate this thing in private. And when we made our decision, we're going to tell you guys, we're not going to do this back and forth. We don't need to leak information to this person in the media. We're the Kansas City Chiefs. We're going to do our survey. We're going to go back. We're going to get all the information and data from this survey. And when we come to our conclusion, we're going to tell you. That's not really how this Royals thing has gone. Now, say what you want about Bob Fescoe. Fescoe has been as right about this as just about anybody that has tried to report on this thing. Now, he has gotten some things wrong. I think Fescoe will tell you that he's gotten some things wrong. He ain't shooting 100% from the field. He's shooting like 70% from the field, though. Here is Bob Fescoe talking about the drama that's been around Kauffman Stadium.
If you're going to the state of Missouri, basically saying you lost the Chiefs, you need us, give us more money than you're currently give us, is from what I've been hearing. That's not a great way to approach things. That's not the best way to do things. And so I just wanted to get done on either side of the state line because I want my team here. Because, you know, we keep hearing about Nashville getting a team or Salt Lake City getting a team. That needs to be an expansion team. That doesn't need to be a team from Kansas City that couldn't figure out a way to get a deal done in either state on either side of the state line. So it's time to get this thing put to bed. It's time to announce where they're going, whether it's downtown, whether it's Johnson County, whether it's the Northland, and just get it done somewhere here in Kansas City. Because at the end of the day, we all just want the ball club. I don't care where they're located. I just want them playing here in Kansas City and not saying, well, we couldn't get a deal done here, so now we got to look elsewhere. They've got a great deal with the state of Kansas. Take the bird in hand. It's better than two in the bush.
I mean, I do care where the stadium is. Bob might not care where the stadium is. I do care where the stadium is. It is so intriguing to me how different the experiences have gone with both sides. You might not like the decision that the Chiefs came up with, and I know that some of you are mad with the decision that they came to. I mean, I think the Chiefs did it exactly how you're supposed to. They tried, and I use try in air quotes. I don't know if they tried that hard, but they tried to renovate Arrowhead Stadium. And then quietly behind the scenes, they started hammering in the deal that they really wanted. Meanwhile, the Royals, it's just been North Kansas City says your time has expired. The Leawood mayor said, we don't want you over here. The Kansas senator came out and said that your time, like, the Royals have heard a lot of no over the course of the last 2 years. Publicly from a lot of people. Now, privately, we're not a part of those conversations, but there is no way to look at the Royals' pursuit of a new stadium anything other than it being a disaster. It is impossible. Now, maybe there are a lot of things associated with that. Clark, who's been an owner for a very long time, his dad was an owner. His mom is very involved with the team. He grew up in this. He's had his business person in place for a long time. So they just have a decade of rapport and back and forth and a relationship that they have built. Maybe with John Sherman, it is you are a new owner, so you're trying to handle the baseball part of it, and you're also trying to figure out how to get a new stadium and work those relationships and what you need to do. And maybe he has really struggled in that regard. But, man, it has been very telling how different this has played out when it comes to the two sports franchises are asking for the exact same thing. One is significantly cheaper than the other thing. It is going to be cheaper to do what the Royals want to do than what the Chiefs want to do. And both teams, the way that it is handled, the way that it is reported on, our perception around both of them is so drastically different. We had a good idea of what was going to happen with the Chiefs. I mean, there's only two options. We're either going to renovate the stadium that we have, or we're going to build the stadium out in Wyandotte County. I still don't know where the Royal Stadium is going to be. We're heading on the 2-year anniversary. No one can tell me where the stadium is going to be. And then every day we turn on the news, there's a new idea of where the stadium could be. The mayor of Kansas City is going on and said, we haven't given up on this idea. What about this idea? Your guess when it comes to where the stadium is going to be is as good as mine. I have absolutely no clue. And for us to be following this for as long as we have been following it, and it still don't feel like we are close to any conclusion or any answer to this, is just frustrating. And again, back to the main point. Maybe this explains why the Royals are the Royals and why the Chiefs are the Chiefs. Maybe this explains it. I see why one team has been a dynasty. I see why one team has been consistent and relevant for basically our entire life. And yeah, maybe they have a couple of rough years, but then their owner comes in and says, that's unacceptable. No, we're not going to let people fly banners over our stadium. We're not letting people wear bags on their heads come into our game. I'm going to fix this. And then he goes out and fixes it. Maybe that's why. The Royals had an owner before this one that bought the team, and it took him basically a decade until the All-Star game was there for him to be like, hey, you know what? Maybe the people that I've been asking for money for this maybe they actually care about the team. Maybe I should try harder. That's an actual quote from the former owner. He didn't realize until the All-Star game in 2012, maybe I should invest and maybe the people of Kansas City want a good baseball team, and that changed his opinion. And then magically, after the All-Star game, guess what happened, Rob? They got good at baseball. Like immediately after the All-Star game, they got good at baseball. And maybe all of this just explains why the Chiefs have been the Chiefs for most of our adult life and why the Royals have been the Royals for most of our adult life, how they handle their business.
Maybe this will come off like a negative, and I don't mean it a negative. Is it possible the Royals have been too open about the process? Like, I understand if you are a diehard, loyal Missourian listening, you hate Clark Hunt because he's moving the team across state line. I get it. I'm not trying to trivialize that. But we never heard from Clark or Mark Donovan or nothing other than when they spoke to the media the handful of times. There were never any listening sessions. There was never any feedback. They had the one survey that went out to season ticket holders. Hey, what are you? But they also tied in PSLs and all that stuff into that survey. Other than that, the Chiefs kind of operated in silence, behind the scenes, in the shadows, whatever term you want to use. The Royals, for better or worse, have been very front-facing. Hey, we're considering this. Here's why. Hey, here are these renderings here. Here's the deal. Hey, here it's been widely reported they wanted this, but got like every drip of Royals news has been very front-facing. The Chiefs didn't operate that way. I wonder if you could go back in time and ask John Sherman, would you like to do this a little more veil of secrecy? Because it seems like Clark Hunt was behind the scenes, Mark Donovan, Topeka, the team. They just got things done fast, and we didn't know about it. And maybe it's on us. We didn't see it when it was right there. Like the governor of Kansas being in the parade should have set off alarm bells for us, but it didn't. I wonder if the Royals have been too open about their whole process, and it has made the process get gummed up because then people have an opinion on every moment of the process.
I guess I kind of push back on this idea. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, if you care where the stadium goes, and that means you're willing to lose the team to some other city, maybe this has just been the media's part, and I've been a part of it too. I've thrown it out there, so I can't completely put this on anybody else. There's no reason to think that the Royals are leaving the Kansas City area. No reason. There's no reason to think that John Sherman, who went to Ottawa University, who became a billionaire, who bought the Kansas City Royals and has always talked about a downtown stadium and has told the story that he has been married to the same person for 40 years and their first date was at Kauffman Stadium. There's no reason to think that that person who brought in Eric Stone Street, who brought in Patrick Mahomes, you can go look at all the people who have partial ownership. It's just a who's who of Kansas Cityans. There's no reason to think that that person is moving the team to Nashville or moving the team to Austin or moving the team to whatever city you want to throw out there. So that's just not it. They're going to be somewhere in Kansas City. Now, I mean, I'm not excited about them going to 119th and all. I mean, if they do, I'll just accept it and I'll keep going to the games. That's not where I want them to be. But there's no reason to think that in 2032, when the lease expires at the Truman Sports Complex, there's no reason to think that the Royals are building a stadium anywhere else. They haven't even talked to anybody else. There hasn't been any rumors or none of that. So, no, they're going to be in Kansas City somewhere. We just got to figure it out.
I agree with you. I don't want this to come off like fear-mongering. I could see a scenario where they potentially start entertaining outside. It would have to be after if another vote failed.
I think they would just take the Kansas deal. I think they would just take the. Now I wouldn't be surprised if the Royals try again in Missouri, it fails again in Missouri, and they're like, all right, I'll just take the Kansas deal. The Kansas deal, that was that special star bond, but we own the land on 119th and all. Now, maybe we don't get the entertainment district that we wanted, but they can always go to Kansas. I've been using the analogy of a fallback school. Yeah, keep applying and keep doing these other things, but you always know in your back pocket, you can go to UMKC if everything else fails. Worst case scenario is you can go to William Jewell. You want to go somewhere else, and William Jewell's a great school, but you want to go somewhere else. We know without a fact that the Royals, they got a home on 119th and all. That is their worst case scenario in my mind, because if they like the 119th and all idea, they've had all in the world to take it. There was a deadline on the 31st. They still didn't take it. Kansas is coming out publicly and saying, you missed the boat, you missed the boat. They would have just taken it if they felt like that was their last chance. They're trying to figure out a deal in Missouri. Now, where in Missouri, we don't know. It could be you could tell me anything now. Tomorrow, the Royals could make an announcement. You could tell me that they put the stadium anywhere. You could tell me they put it in the West Bottoms. You could tell me that they tore down Independence Center. And at this point, I have absolutely no clue, and your guess is just as good as mine. But you cannot read how long this has taken other than the Royals are doing everything in their power to try to build a stadium on the Missouri side. They are not excited about the Kansas offer, but they are also not afraid to take the Kansas offer if they need to take the Kansas deal.
I agree. And again, I don't want to a fearmonger. I don't believe this is happening. I have no insight. I could see a scenario where they go back to Missouri for a second vote and Kansas gets in their feelings and pulls their offer. And in that world, I think maybe they would start entertaining a Salt Lake or a Nashville. But I think that is a minuscule chance, but I don't think it's a 0% chance that if things continue to go sideways with both sides of the state, they at least entertain other options.
You're right. You and I, this has just been a theme of just we disagree today, and that's perfectly fine. I don't see any scenario in which a Major League Baseball team goes to the state of Kansas that already owns land in Kansas and says that we want to build a stadium here, and Kansas says no. I don't see any scenario in which that happens. Now, they might have to do something different than what they are doing for the Chiefs, and maybe they won't get the deal that the Chiefs have the perfect deal. You cannot, as a business, ask for a better deal. So maybe the Royals end up getting the worst deal because of it, and that is your negotiating leverage. I do not see any scenario in which the Chiefs are not in the Kansas City metropolitan area. None. Not a single one. Not with all the people they got on board with it. Not with who their owner is. It'll be different if their owner was some out-of-town rich guy that just bought the team. He went to Ottawa University. His first date was in the stadium. That guy ain't moving the team.
I actually think
Number one, that guy's not moving the team because that guy is going to be hated in the city. That guy is going to be Art Modell. If you move the Royals, you become Art Modell in your own city, in your hometown? Or no chance.
Or you're Stan Kroenke. We can
name those don't want to be that. Stan Kroenke can never go back home.
I actually think we are 99% the same here. I don't think we're actually arguing that much. I just think there's a 1% chance if things get really sideways, you might see a story in the Nashville Gazette or whatever it's called that Nashville would consider taking the Royals.
Gazette. What a name for a newspaper.
In the Salt Lake City Times-Picayune. Like, I don't know what it'd be called, but whatever.
Can I give you some numbers I saw? I saw this on Arrowhead Pride. I actually saw Joel Thorman yesterday. Shout out to Joel Thorman. Hashtag Rock State. I went to Oak Park and Rockhurst yesterday. Oak Park got the beats yesterday. Hey, absolute beats yesterday. That's neither here nor there. So these stats were on Arrowhead Pride. The Chiefs were 29th in the NFL this season on sacks on third and long. Mitch Holtis, we've asked him before, hey, what's your why? If somebody comes up to you at high V, because you know Mitch loves a high V. If somebody comes up to you, Mitch, and says, what went wrong this season? Mitch has told us his answer. He feels like the NFL moved the Chiefs around to all these different windows, and he thought that had an effect on the team and their inability to get off the field on third down. The Chiefs, they got 6% of their sacks this season on third and long, and that was ranked 29th in the NFL. Have you guys been watching Houston's defense? Houston's defense is really, really simple. Houston doesn't blitz. Houston doesn't really disguise blitzes. They don't need to. We got two of the top 5 pass rushers in the NFL. So you can try to double team one of them. You can't double team everybody. And then we also got Rankins and we also got all these other guys. And oh yeah, if you even get the opportunity to throw it, we've got two of the best corners in the National Football League. Houston's defense is real simple. You just got to get pressure. The Chiefs defense this past year didn't get pressure. Rob, 29th in the NFL. This year, did you know, Rob, on first down, the Chiefs, they allowed 4.6 yard per carry on first down. So even on so you can't get off the field on third and long, and the Chiefs didn't really create a lot of third and long situations because teams ran the football so effectively against them in the early downs. Also very important. And you might find this hard to believe, but the Chiefs, they were second in the NFL in missed tackles this past season behind the Cincinnati Bengals. They were second in the league. I mean, some of these things start to add up, and that's why as we enter in more of the conversation about what they need to do in the draft, why defense is so important. I mean, the Chiefs, they were fourth fewest in the NFL, so they were, 29th in the NFL when it came to forcing turnovers. They were seventh fewest when it comes to pass breakups. They didn't get off the field on third down, and they missed tackles. That's not a good combination to have a great defense, and the Chiefs' defense was good this year. It was good. It wasn't bad. But, when you were winning Super Bowls, you had a great defense that could kind of make up for your middling offense at times, and they did not have that in 2025.
I believe it was Nate Taylor said this last week when he was on with us, which I'm going to miss talking to Nate Taylor in January. Stupid Chiefs really stole that from us. Quietly, I think the defense this offseason is a big deal for the Chiefs. Those stats are damning, and if you want to be an eye test person, you watch the games, I watch the games, Textline watch the games. I could have told you they struggled to get sacks.
For sure.
I could have told you their pass rush was lacking. I could have told you they really struggled on third down. I wouldn't have known that 4.6 yards per carry on first down stat, but I knew running the ball effectively against the Chiefs wasn't all that difficult. I understand, and we have a lot of time this offseason to talk about it, more so than ever, but why people are going to hyper-focus on the offense, and I get it. But I think it's a quiet thing we need to talk about this offseason. The defense was not up to par last year, and I think it was not up to par at all three levels, and they are going to start losing pieces from that defense. They're not going to have Jalen Watson next year, or you're going to trade Trent McDuffie and have Jalen Watson. You're losing one of your corners. I would imagine Brian Cook's gone. I can't imagine a scenario where they're re-signing Brian Cook. Leo Chenal, who PFF said was one of their best linebackers this year, we presume he's gone. They can eject on Mike Dana. They should eject on Jerry Tillery because he was nothing. Charles Omenihu is also gone at the end of the year.
Like Jerry Tillery was even on the team.
Like they have quietly a big offseason ahead because it's not just get Patrick Mahomes looking like Patrick Mahomes again. It's, hey, this defense was once the most formidable group in the NFL, and it was pretty blah last year. We have to get that back up to par too, because you can't. We saw what happens when you don't have both. When you have a lacking offense and lacking defense, you have the ninth pick in the draft, and you go sixth and whatever. That's what happened. So you got to fix both sides of the ball.
I don't feel like you and I have made a basketball analogy in a while, but I mean, when it comes to your defensive line, it kind of is like basketball. Man, you can't really scheme up ability to get pressure. Not at this level. Houston is not scheming up how to get pressure. No, Will Anderson is just beating you. Danielle Hunter is beating you. There's no scheme for that. Now it's coaching and technique, but no, it is we're going to trust our front four. We're dropping 7, and we're going to trust that, A, you're not going to get the ball out in time, or if you do, it's going to be uncomfortable. We're going to hit you. We're going to tip passes. We're going to play passing lanes. We're going to try to force turnovers, and we're going to be hyper-aggressive. For the Chiefs' leading sack guy to have 7 this year is embarrassing. It's embarrassing. For the amount of money that the Chiefs were spending this season on their defensive line, that's embarrassing for your leading sack guy to have 7. Think about all the complaints that people had this year about Chris Jones and energy and effort and not doing those things. The fact that he was noticeably better than George Karlaftis is a problem. He had more sacks than George Karlaftis. He had more tackle for losses this year than George Karlaftis. Like, in terms of pass rush, that guy at his age had more juice coming off the edge than George Karlaftis is a problem. Charles Omenihu, he gave you nothing this year. Charles Omenihu had 3.5 sacks this year. 3.5. He had 28 tackles for the season. 28. He couldn't get you 2 tackles a game. And he played in all 17 games this year. There's a lot of reasons how the Chiefs found themselves in the situation that they are in. And one of the top is their defensive line just wasn't good enough. Chris Jones wasn't good enough. George Karlaftis wasn't good enough. Charles Omenihu wasn't good enough. You can overcome Xavier Worthy not being good enough. You can overcome, things not working out with Christian Fulton. It's really difficult to overcome your defensive line getting a D grade for the season. It's almost impossible to be able to do it. Look at the teams that are still alive in the National Football League playoffs. Man, you got guys that can get after it on that defensive line, and the Chiefs, they didn't have it this year.
I also think, and this is semantics, I think you're able to scheme up a little bit of pressure, but what Spags can scheme up is getting his guys one-on-one. Think about his time in New York and his time in Kansas City. What Spags did an elite job at as a pass rush first defensive coordinator is he found a way to get his best pass rusher one-on-one with someone. Either A, this year, he wasn't able to scheme it up that way. I don't believe that. Or B, when those players got put in one-on-one opportunities, they lost. Like, I can think about, remember the AFC title game where they beat the Bengals? It was the end of the game. Chris Jones is changing positions. He's pointing, I want him. They are blitzing with the intent of it's Chris Jones one-on-one against a right tackle. Chris Jones dominated on that play. They get pressure. The Chiefs get off the field. Chiefs go down and score. They're going to the Super Bowl, the whole thing. We can think about New York. They were blitzing what they call it the NASCAR package. It was designed to get O.C. Umenyiora or Justin Tuck or Michael Strahan in a one-on-one against an offensive lineman, and they knew our guy's beating your guy. I'm sure Spags was still dialing up that same blitz, that same NASCAR package, all those same things he was doing because he's wildly successful. It just so happened Mike Dana wasn't winning his one-on-ones. Charles Omenihu was not beating anyone one-on-one. Chris Jones, I think, is a little bit maligned by the text line, but he wasn't winning his one-on-ones. George Karlaftis the same way. Like, I don't think it was scheme, but I think Spags' scheme was designed to get, hey, I want my pass rush guy in a one-on-one, go get me a bucket type of situation, and ain't no one on that D-line getting buckets anymore.
Yeah, 100%. Like someone says, I think we ran fewer stunts than everybody else in the league. I'm telling you, sometimes you just need guys that can beat their other guy. If you can only score off pick and rolls, you ain't a good offensive player. You got to be able to beat your guy off the dribble. And the Chiefs, when it comes to their defensive line, they didn't have a lot of guys that could do that this year, and that's why their defensive line struggled. Why don't we do this, Rob? We'll get back to football coming up at the top of the hour. I want to give you guys thoughts about all 3 of the local college basketball teams next. We'll do that. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, hockey fans! Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Don't let winter catch you off guard. Keep your family cozy with a $69 heating system tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. We have pros available 7 days a week to keep your system running at peak efficiency, helping prevent costly breakdowns, lower energy bills, and keep your home warm all winter long. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 5-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Revitalize your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery during our bath savings event. Plus, get up to 40% off select shower heads. No matter what style you're looking for, we've got you covered. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Saline from Vicks.
Sinex Saline Nasal Spray?
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Saline instantly clears everyday congestion associated with colds and year-round allergies with a gentle, ultra-fine mist that's no mess and easy to control.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Enjoy life's important moments without congestion. Try Sinex Saline from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a new crash now in Olathe, 35 northbound as you approach Santa Fe. Scoot to the right. Through here it is the left lane blocked. Multi-car crash still working in Blue Springs, 70 westbound at 7 Highway. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Subscribe to 96.5 The Fan on YouTube to watch the show from wherever you are.
All right. I don't really know what order we're going to go from, but let's start with K-State. Maybe that's the order that we'll go. Let's start with K-State. I just feel like we're passing time with Kansas State basketball. I really do. I feel like we're passing time. I don't feel like K-State has any of the casuals watching. It's just the diehards. And the rest of us that are not a part of your group, that are not big fans of the team, are all waiting to see who the next head coach is going to be. I mean, they're a 9-7 team. They're 0-3 in the conference. They don't have a great non-con. They lost 4 games in a row in non-con. I mean, they lost to Bowling Green at the Crib. Like, you don't have great non-con wins. You're going to finish with a losing record in conference play. I mean, you're not making the NCAA tournament this year. Not in the conference that you're in. I feel like the rest of us are just waiting to find out when you're going to fire your head coach and who that next head coach is going to be and if you can turn things around. I mean, it doesn't take much in college basketball. K-State has shown the ability to go out and spend money. You got Haggerty, you got Coleman Hawkins. I mean, you've shown that you're willing to spend a little bit of bread when it comes to NIL and go get kids to come to campus. So I don't think that's the issue. You took a chance on Tang and it didn't work. It failed. It is failing. So I don't really know what to think more about K-State other than that. They're not a good basketball team. K-State fans, if you're expecting us to spend a lot of time talking about your 9-7 basketball team that hasn't won a game in conference play, you're going to be real disappointed listening to this show over the next couple of months. You haven't given us much reasons to talk about. This show is not equal opportunity when it comes to topics. Be interesting. You guys are not interesting. You guys will be interesting once you fire your head coach.
And if you're a K-State fan clamoring for more talk, you had a chance to be more interesting this year.
You did.
Like, I know we talked a lot about KU yesterday and a little bit off the top of the show today. Bill Self in the offseason last year said, hey, what happened last year is unacceptable. We're going to be better. Are they a lot better? No, I would argue they are better, but they're interesting because they have the best player in college basketball on their team, and they're a team that is, fighting and competing every night. Jerome Tang, he said a lot of the same things last offseason. Remember, he was saying, we got to fix things. This isn't good enough. We got to be better. They had a PJ Haggerty and then a bunch of dudes you never heard of, and they still stink. They still have all the same problems. And last year, they Coleman Hawkins, everything got blamed on NIL, and we found out his contract. We don't know what PJ Haggerty is making, but I promise you this, if we ever do, we're going to realize, wow, K-State spent a lot of money on a big-name portal guy again and got no wins out of it. It's the same story, just change the names.
Yeah, there's just, I guess, I don't see any scenario in which Jerome Tang is back next season. None. Not in today's world. Like, it's not just NIL where you got to pay players. Like, you need the fans to want to donate to the program. And right now, my perception is in Manhattan, Colin Klein doesn't have any problem helping generate the funds. If you're calling me as a K-State fan and you're telling me I need to give some money to the basketball program, why would I give money to them? Why am I giving money to him? I gave money. They went 19-15 and lost in the first round of the NIT. They went under 500 last year. They currently are going to go under 500. Like, it's now about how do you sell tickets? How do you inspire your fan base? And they're just blah. There's no other way to put it. Kansas State basketball, the only saving grace for them this season is, can they beat KU at home? Can they beat KU at home?
That doesn't save his job. I'm
with you, but I'm just saying is, if you want to be interesting, beat KU at home. I mean, they might get another good winning. It's college basketball.
And the Big 12 has a lot of good teams.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, it wouldn't be surprising to me if K-State beats Houston at home. They beat BYU. I mean, yeah, you could catch one of those teams. You get enough chances. Can they beat KU at home this year? That's their only purpose.
And what you're describing sounds like the Jim Woolridge era. Hey, can they just beat Kansas? The rest of it we don't care about, but can they just beat Kansas? Like, and listen, I'm saying that full arrogance as a KU fan, but your program was in the Elite Eight 3 seasons ago, and now your goal is just to get one home win, and that's interesting enough. That's a really sad fall from grace for K-State. And I'm saying that as a Kansas football fan who's experiencing not as large of a tumble, but Lance Leipold experiencing a big fall from grace as well.
Yeah. Someone on the text line says, CDOT, we know your whole station hates K-State. I don't have any issues with K-State. K-State has done nothing to me. We love having K-State people on. Again, I know you guys think, oh, you should talk about all the local sports. That ain't my job. My job is to talk about interesting. You guys aren't interesting. I'm just sorry to tell you. The games ain't interesting. No one other than diehard K-State fans are keeping up with this K-State basketball team. You gotta give us a reason to talk about you on this show, and you haven't done that so far.
I will say this real quick before you move on.
I was ready to move on to Kansas. You want to keep talking more K-State? We can.
I do have one question for K-State fans. Are you guys willing to pay that Jerome Tang buyout?
Yeah, they will.
It's $15 million.
I'm never worried about that in college basketball. Never worried about that in college sports.
He parlayed that Arkansas interest into a contract that is expensive to get out from under. Because you have to give him $50 million and another NIL donation.
It's college. Somehow they always seem to have the money. Somehow the money always just falls from the sky. You think you're going to go under 500 for 3 straight years, miss the tournament 3 straight years, and money's the only thing that's keeping you? No, they will come up with it. They will pass the collection. They'll walk to every farm in Kansas, collected money to get Jerome Tang's ass out of town. You know they will.
Tyson Chicken just going to keep Tang in town 1 more year.
Yeah, come on. They firing him. Someone asked a question about UMKC. What about UMKC for just a little bit? I asked Cody this question. If I told you right now, I'll double your salary, quit this job, and go be the athletic director at UMKC and turn around the basketball program, what would you do? I think the answer is real simple, actually, to turn around UMKC. I'll give you the answer. Number one, you got to get buy-in from the kids on campus. So you need to go around the local restaurants, you need to go to local T-shirt companies, and you need to incentivize UMK students to create an environment at UMKC basketball games. The buy-in starts with them. And then once you get them on board and it's a fun atmosphere, you know how kids are. Kids are going to go where they think it's cool. So you got to make UMKC games feel cool. Number one, to turn around UMKC is you got to get buy-in from the kids that actually go to UMKC. You're not going to get buy-in from me. I love Kansas City. I did not go to school there. No, you're not getting buy-in from me. You got to get buy-in from them. That's number one. Number two, now I've been to enough high school basketball games. I did an entire documentary about Kansas City high school basketball. I'd encourage you to check it out, from Paseo to Pembroke. You have to have a presence at high school basketball games. You have to have a presence. You cannot continue to not have a presence. Rob, yesterday I went to a basketball game between the number 1 and number 2 teams in Kansas City. If you go off the Missouri rankings, the number 1 team in Class 6 in Kansas City and the number 4 team in Class 6. How is there no UMKC presence at the game? You don't think any of the kids on the floor could play at UMKC? None of them. Last year, the best player on UMKC, Rob, where is he at right now?
He's at Best player from UMKC?
No, at Oak Park. Where is he at?
Oh, he's at Kansas.
He's at Kansas.
Corbin Allen, yes, I get what you're saying.
What are we doing here? That's
He doesn't play, by the way. He watches the games.
If you start with those two things, you could turn around UMKC. Think about any time UMKC has gotten people excited over the last 25 years. They've always had a Kansas City kid on the team. When they did it when they had Michael Watson, when you and I were coming up. They did it with Quentin Day and Tim Blackwell. They did it with the Montez Harrison kid that had some off the court, whatever. I don't remember all the issues that he had. Anytime UMKC has been locally relevant, they have done it with a high school basketball kid, with the Kansas City kid. So sure, there are some kids you're never going to get. You were never going to get Ethan Taylor that went to Shawnee Mission Northwest that's going to Michigan State. You were never going to get Keaton Wagler, who is going to the NBA next year, who currently starts at Illinois. You could have got Bennett Sturts. Bennett Sturts went to Northwest Missouri his first year. Sure, maybe he's only there for a year, but play basketball there for a year and then transfer. I don't know how UMKC has not figured this out. It never makes any sense to me. We've been having the same conversations for 20 years about UMKC, and they don't seem to learn.
How did you not have – there's got to be a third one. They need an arena.
I don't think that's what's holding them back. I'm serious. I don't think that's what's holding them back.
I don't think it's the singular thing, but it needs to be on your list. It is not cool. There are
I've actually been to UMKC games. It's still fun even in the gym. I know it's not glamorous. It still is fun to go. Now, maybe they need to go to Silverstein Event Center, but I also would argue, and I think a problem is UMKC building an on-campus? Because if you put that thing off campus, you ain't getting kids to come. I'm sorry. We know enough about UMKC. You're not getting kids to leave campus to then drive to their new arena. So the gym's fine for what they want to do, but you got to give people in the area reasons to buy into the program. So I'm telling you, that's what I would do. I would start with we are giving food away to the students that come to the game, and we just find a different place. Today we got Firehouse Subs. Today we got the other place donating pizzas. The local community wants our kids to come to the game. We're giving out T-shirts. We're creating a student section. We're trying to create a real home environment. And you got to start showing up at these high school basketball games and having a real presence. The head coach of the team should be going to a high school basketball game every Friday night. You should be in somebody's home gym. One of your assistants should be at somebody's home gym. And then number two, I would just say you got to hire a coach that knows Kansas City. Someone on the text line, Billy Thomas. He's the head coach at Rockhurst. That's what I'm talking about. Went to Kansas, high school coach at Rockhurst, having great success. You got to go get somebody like that. Not some guy from New Mexico State that doesn't know the area, doesn't know the challenges of UMKC. Some of these things are so obvious. Hire me. I'll quit this job right now and be the AD at UMKC, and we'll turn this basketball program around. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison and Rob Brenton.
You losers is what you are.
On your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a stalled vehicle coming into downtown on 35, very heavy. It's 35 southbound at 18th. Left lane is blocked and you're heavy back into downtown. And then Olathe, the crash is working 35 northbound at Santa Fe with the left lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the divisional round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take a shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. For me, I'm a Josh Allen believer, and I do not believe for 1 second in Bo Nix. So give me the Bills minus 1.5 in Denver. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling.
Hey, it's Josh Vern. You're in before I head out to Arizona to see the boys in blue in spring training. I'll be hosting the Royals Rally Show live from Kauffman Stadium on Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9 a.m. The biggest names in the organization will join me for exclusive one-on-one interviews as they get ready for the 2026 season. If you miss any of the show, it'll all be available afterwards on the All Things Vern podcast channel. The Royals Rally Show, Saturday, January 31st, starting at 9, right here on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Revitalize your bathroom with big savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off select vanities and free delivery during our bath savings event. Plus, get up to 40% off select shower heads. No matter what style you're looking for, we've got you covered. Shop for your bathroom refresh at Lowe's. We help, you save. While supplies last, selection varies by location.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Hey, Royals fans, it's Vern, and the Hot Stove Show is back Thursday night starting at 6 o'clock right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. You are listening on 96.5 The Fan, 96.5thefan.com, and also the Odyssey app. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you guys on this wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. We have a lot to get into. So we didn't get a chance to talk about them in the last segment. We got kind of sidetracked talking about UMKC. Why don't we just start the 5 o'clock hour talking about Kansas and also talking about Missouri? Let's start with talking about the Kansas Jayhawks. That was a really, really impressive win yesterday against Iowa State. They dominated that game from start to finish. Iowa State never led at any point in the game. Not 2-0, not 4-3. I mean, this was a wire-to-wire domination by the University of Kansas yesterday. And I give Kansas a lot of credit for these two things in yesterday's win. Number one, I give them a lot of credit for how balanced they were yesterday. I think you can argue that's the best game that Kansas has played all season. Maybe you would argue the game they played against Tennessee was maybe a more complete game than that. But when factoring in the opponent, factoring in the gravity of the situation of potentially falling to 1-3 in conference play and going up against a team who looks like they could be a 1 seed or a 2 seed in the NCAA tournament in Iowa State, for all 4 of your key players to play as well as they did yesterday is an overwhelming positive. I think this Kansas team has 4 good players. I think they got 4 good players. All 4 of them played well yesterday. Flory gave you 10, 7, and 4 blocks. Melvin Council shot the ball well yesterday. He had 15. Trey White led them in scoring. He had a double-double, 19 points and 10 rebounds. And Darren Peterson played well yesterday. Only played in 27 minutes. Didn't need a lot of minutes from him, given how out of hand the game was. 16 points, shot the ball well, rebounded well, didn't turn the ball over yesterday. I played a really, really well game. They got a little bit of contribution from guys off the bench, but makes sense. I mean, you have this game wrapped up basically for the entire second half, so you're just going to be able to give more guys minutes that are coming in off the bench. This was a very, very complete effort from a team that needed it. I also give Kansas credit for this perspective. I thought their crowd was fantastic yesterday. Their crowd, to me, understood the importance of the game. They understand their place in trying to create a real advantage for their team. And they went out there, they were loud, they were engaged from the tip. And they went out there and they did what they were supposed to do. I thought the team fed off of that energy yesterday by getting off to a really good start. And you could argue that this game was over by the first media timeout, that Kansas won the basketball game in the first 4 minutes of it. And a team that has a chance to be very, very good this season, I thought they came out a little bit shook in Iowa State. I think KU deserves a lot of credit for the performance they had yesterday.
It's what I've wanted to see all season. It's like you got a glimmer of it as a KU fan. They have the potential. They have the pieces. They have the ingredients, if they just do everything right, to be potentially really special. Now, I don't know they're as good as Houston. I don't know they're as good as Duke. I don't know. But on a given night, if they play like that, I think they can compete with anyone in the country, and they're doing that when Darren is clearly at not 100%. I think he's close to 100%, but I don't think he's all the way there yet. The problem with Kansas, and the problem for Kansas has been this year and now last couple of years, is they have moments that look like that. They never have consistency like that. And even this season, there have been pockets where it's looked like that. Last night looked like that. The first half against UConn looked like that. The second half against NC State looked like that. There have been moments where you went, oh, it's special. But it's just too inconsistent, too infrequent, and for every one time I can say it looked like that, you could point to 3-4 times where it looked like the West Virginia game. So now, everything you're saying about last night's correct. But as a KU fan, I'm like, can they build on it? Can they go beat a good Baylor team at home? They should, in the past, have no problem with Baylor. Baylor's good. Can you play like that against Baylor? Can you, in a week and a half, go to Manhattan, rivalry game? It'll be the one game, you just told me, the one game people in Manhattan care about. The atmosphere will be rocking. It'll be a 7 o'clock Saturday night at Bramlage game. It'll be loud. Can you replicate that and go in there and crush their hopes? So far, they have not been able to do that this season, but you saw that's the ceiling. Can they get closer to the ceiling on a night-in, night-out basis?
Now, this is the other side of it. I would say this is the negative. I don't know if it's realistic to think that this team is going to play as well as they just played. Rob, you watched just about every minute of this Kansas basketball team. They shot 51% from the floor. They shot 50% from three yesterday. They held Iowa State to 37% from the floor and 33% shooting from three. Kansas played about as well offensively as we've seen them play this season, while simultaneously, playing about as well defensively as we've seen them play so far. The leading scorer for Iowa State had 12 points in this game. 12. I mean, this was as complete, as thorough of a game that you've seen. Now, I get the other question is, you might love seeing Kansas this way. But even you have to acknowledge, them being good at Allen Fieldhouse has never been a question. They've been good in that building since they built it in 1955. I've never questioned whether or not Kansas can win big games at Allen Fieldhouse. That's all they've done. Do you think that this team can win these kind of games outside of Allen Fieldhouse? Because in the Big 12, you're probably going to lose another home game. I don't think Kansas is a team that's going undefeated in home games this year, not with how strong it is and not with you play all of the top four teams in that building. You beat one of those teams, but you play Houston, Texas Tech, Arizona, and BYU. You play them all in Allen Fieldhouse. I just don't think Kansas is going 5-0 in those games. I would be very, very surprised if that's the case, just given I think all of those teams are clearly better than KU this year. The issue for Kansas is going to be whenever you leave that place, because when you left it against West Virginia, you didn't play very well. You got to go on the road to Manhattan, you mentioned. You got to go on the road to Arizona State. We're not counting you got to go on the road to Iowa State or one of those kind of teams. I'm not questioning if KU can be good inside Allen Fieldhouse. I'm questioning, can they figure out a way to get that energy to translate, how complete they were, getting 16 points from their bench. Can they figure out a way to do that in somebody else's gym? If they can do that, they can be a very dangerous team this year. But last year's team never figured out how to win outside of Allen Fieldhouse. That's all they could do last year was win inside Allen Fieldhouse. And when they played somewhere else, that was the most disappointing Kansas team of your lifetime. That team was not good last year. This team's better than last year's team. I think they're more complete than last year's team, but this team's got to prove to me that you can beat some quality opponents outside Allen Fieldhouse.
It is going to be the $1 million question, because I think the difference is if you can't do it the way last year's team couldn't do it, you're probably a 6, 7, 8, 9 seed in the NCAA tournament. I think they'll have enough quality wins. They'll beat enough good teams at Allen. They have Darren Peterson. They have Kansas across their chest. They will be a 6 through 9 seed in the NCAA tournament if they do exactly what last year's team did, which is leave Allen and be in trouble. But if they can find a way to leave Allen, and I'm not talking about just when they go to Arizona or when they go to Texas Tech. Those are obviously huge games. But can you avoid a misstep in Boulder? Can you avoid stubbing your toe in Tempe? Can you make sure you don't have another bad loss in Orlando or in Morgantown? Like, can you avoid those games? Can you make sure a Stillwater choke job doesn't happen? Those are the things last year's team couldn't do. If you can do that this year's team, you have a chance to be a 4, 5, or 6 seed in the NCAA tournament. And now you're talking about a team that should, based on seed, make the second weekend. And if you're in the second weekend with Darren Peterson, I'm willing to keep in and roll the dice and let's see what happens. But you're right. Last year's team lost those games and they were a 7 seed and they were out in the first round quietly. If this year's team can win a few of those games, they might be a 5 seed and they might be in the Sweet 16. It's those level of margins right now in college basketball.
Let's talk about Missouri for just a little bit here, and then we'll get to the hits. Seems very simple to me. If you think Missouri has a chance to make the NCAA tournament, they have to win today. You cannot afford, if you are Missouri, given the lack of non-con wins that you have, you cannot afford to lose a home game to this Auburn team. Auburn's not good. Auburn is 10-6 this year, and they already have 2 losses in SEC play. They're not a good basketball team. They're coming into your building. You have to figure out a way to win if you're trying to make the NCAA tournament. That's the only way you make the NCAA tournament, is picking up these kind of wins. No one thinks you got to go on the road and beat Alabama and get those kind of wins, but taking care of home court against Auburn, you have to figure it out if you're trying to be an NCAA tournament team. That's really it. You're mostly healthy. You've been playing better basketball the last 3 weeks or so if you're Mizzou. And if you're a tournament team, you got to figure it out in a game right now that's a 2-point spread right now in Vegas. You got to figure out a way to win that game.
I don't want to say must win, because
I think it's a must win if they're trying to make the tournament.
I agree with you. I think must win, there's like a connotation of more dramatic to it than that, and maybe I'm just semantics, but you're right. If you have any hope being in the NCAA tournament team, you have to beat Auburn at home. And maybe in a month and a half, the Auburn win at home is not going to look bad, but you can't be carrying a loss on your resume. You said it perfectly. They didn't have a non-con. Missouri basically had to treat their basketball team like they didn't play in November and December, and they just started the season. It's like, what year was it? I forget the team where they weren't allowed to have a non-con because NCAA violations.
Baylor. It was Baylor.
That's how you got to treat Missouri basketball. I'm sorry. Beating Morgan State, beating Coppin State, going on the road and beating Jackson State, going to, Robert Morris, whatever these schools were, they don't count. They don't mean anything. You lost to Illinois. You got boat raced by Illinois. You got boat raced by Kansas. You lost to Notre Dame, who's bad, by the way. You don't have any quality wins on your resume. So now it's just a matter of 10-8 or better in the SEC. And maybe the Auburn win isn't great for your RPI or BPI, whatever they're using nowadays, but it can't be one in your L column. 100%. It's that simple.
Yeah, no, you and I are on page. Because I would say if you're looking at it right now, Vanderbilt's going to make the tournament. Florida, Georgia, Arkansas, Alabama, Tennessee. This isn't a super strong SEC year where you think you're getting 12 teams the way that they have in years past. So you need to be on the right side of things. There's going to be a clear line of demarcation, I think, in the SEC, and you need to be on the right side of that line. You do not need to be in the South Carolina Ole Miss side of things. You need to be on the other side and just taking care of business at home. You're going to lose road games. It's college basketball. You got to win these games in your building, in your own gym. You cannot afford to lose home games to Auburn with having no non-con and then tell me you're making the NCAA tournament. That ain't how this works. All right, Rob, shout out Baker University.
Your workday is over.
Oh, yeah.
You're headed home, and now you're stuck in traffic. Time to get caught up on the biggest stories in Kansas City and around the country with CDOT and Rob. It's time for the hits. Number 1.
Okay, the hits are brought to you by Baker University. Make your next era orange at Baker University, the first university in Kansas, and ranked number 1 in return on investment among private universities in Kansas. Baker University, forever in our orange era. Well, Carrington, it's surprising, to say the least, that on January 14th, the top story of the day in Kansas City and across the country is Oregon football, but the projected number 2 overall pick, a projected Las Vegas Raiders, said, not so fast, my friend. He is headed back to be a Duck next season.
The year didn't end the way you wanted to end, and of course, got to give your kudos and credit to Indiana. But yeah, with this decision, mainly all my life, it's kind of just been, being as most prepared as I can for any situation I go into. And when it comes to me just making my decision, of course, I want to feel most prepared and, this is best for my situation, especially as a quarterback. And with my decision, it's been very tough. I prayed a lot about it, talked to many people, my mentors and people I just look up to. And with that being said, of course, I'll be coming back to Oregon for one more year and being able to play for the Oregon Ducks and, of course, reach our goal and be national champions.
Carrington, you are a proponent of Dante Moore saying no thank you to the NFL
100%.
and more time with Dan Lanning's crew up in Eugene.
I think we all need to be on this side. I'm not going to say I don't see the other side of the argument, but I think we have to quit talking about college athletics in the same way that we talked about it pre-COVID and pre-NIL. If you are already a millionaire and somebody is offering to pay you more millions of dollars, your thought process, what you are chasing, changes. And I think every other time that we have had this conversation, when it comes to college quarterbacks and whether or not they should stay or should they go, they've always operated from a place of being broke. Well, Dante Moore ain't broke. Dante Moore made more money last year than NFL starting quarterbacks and is going to do it again. So if I'm already set, and I hate this conversation of, he gave up all these millions of dollars. Is the NFL going anywhere? Is this the final season of the NFL? Are they canceling the league? He could still be drafted in next year's draft class, right? They're still going to want quarterbacks. So don't worry about the money. Do not make these decisions on the basis of, who's paying it? No. What is in the best interest of your development as a potential and future NFL quarterback? And we have countless numbers of examples. The more college experience you have, the better prepared you are to enter the workforce, which is the National Football League. The more reps, the more practices, the more games, the more high leverage situations that you have in college, it better prepares you when somebody hands you the keys of an NFL organization. And most of the quarterbacks that completely flame out, and then in 2 years, you'll be screaming that they should have fired the general manager, and this quarterback's a bum, and these guys are all idiots, usually stems from that quarterback only had 1 year of starting college football. He started 1 year, he played really well, but doesn't have a lot of reps, doesn't have a lot of experience, didn't go through the ups and downs of playing college football, and that guy then drowned instantly when he got to the league. So if you already got money and you feel like you're in a good situation to keep developing, and by the time you hit the league, you're ready. You heard it in the clip. He said, I don't feel I'm ready. Well, if you don't feel like you're ready to play in the NFL, you shouldn't be there, especially when you have an option I can make $5 million. I can play at the University of Oregon. I'll get all the tennis shoes in the world. I'll be the big man on campus. Keep being a kid. Keep enjoying being in college. You're making good money. And then when you're ready to join the NFL, join the NFL. That's the advice I would make when it comes to any of these guys. I'm serious. That's the advice I would give. Keep playing college football. Keep getting as much experience that you have while you're doing it. And this one thing, someone says, CDOT, let's play the flip side. What if he blows out his knee and he can't play in the NFL? It's 2026. When does this happen? I feel like we're creating these devil advocates, well, what if he gets injured arguments. When does this happen in college athletics? Tell me the last guy who got so hurt in college football he couldn't play in the National Football League. I can give you countless examples. I saw Willis McGahee, a running back, blow up his knee, still got picked in the first round the next year. He plays quarterback. You know how desperate this league is for quarterback if they think this kid can play? So don't worry about chasing the money in the first year of no. You need to be thinking about How do I set myself up to have the best rookie contract possible? Because if you have a great rookie contract, they will give you $200 million to play football. They'll give you $250 million to play football. The money is there. The endorsements are going to be there. The travel, the girls, the life, all of that stuff is going to be there. Put yourself in the best possible position to join the league with some success and be a day one I can help. I don't need to develop. I don't need to sit behind anybody and learn. No, I'm ready because I've started 40 games of college football in the SEC, in the Big Ten, and all of these things. That's what I would advise every single college player to do, is to play at least 2 or 3 years of high-level college football before entering the NFL.
I also think pro football is becoming a little bit like pro basketball in this regard. Carrington, you like the NBA more than me, but you'll understand this analogy. Every year during draft time, what do people rave about with players entering the draft? How young they are.
Yeah.
Oh, so-and-so is only 19. We love him. Hey, so-and-so's played 2 years of college basketball, but he's only still 19 years old. Hey, so-and-so was a redshirt, and now he's only 18. That's why the Euro guys get drafted so early in the NBA. You're starting to see that a lot in the NFL, too. Patrick Mahomes was very young as a person who got drafted in the NFL. Caleb Williams was young. You're seeing guys now where it's like, hey, more so than years in college, the number next to the age is more important. Dante Moore is currently 20 years old. He will have another year of starting college football, high-level experience. He will presumably enter the draft next year. He'll still be 21. He will still be young. This isn't Bo Nix saying, you know what? At 24 years old, I'm going to try to get another year of college, and I'm going to stay in college until I'm 25. This is a 20-year-old person who cannot legally drink, saying, I'm going to wait 1 more year to be a professional athlete, while simultaneously having the best college life anyone can imagine, because I'm the quarterback of a school that can pay me like you wouldn't believe. That is not going to hurt his draft stock. The only thing that hurts his draft stock is injury. And yes, you can get injured in football, but he could also get injured next year for the Jets and his next contract blows up. Injury is just part of the game, whether you're at Oregon, the Jets, or the Rough Riders up in Saskatchewan.
There's like 30 people in the world that can play quarterback in the NFL at a high level. Maybe less than that. There's like 30 people walking the face of the earth that can do it. If you are one of those 30 people that can do it, the money will always be there. There's no shortage of companies that would love an athlete endorser. There is no shortage of people that are looking for good. So just, don't even think about the money. The money shouldn't even factor in your decision on what you're thinking about doing. Take this time, be the best college football player you can be, and then when you enter the NFL, you're ready to hit the ground running. You're ready from day one to be a starting quarterback in the National Football League and take a team to the playoffs. That's what I would focus on. I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but today is the 8-year anniversary of one of the coolest plays in NFL history.
Case on a deep drop, steps up in the pocket. He'll fire to the right side, caught by Diggs. Stay up! Oh my God! Oh my God! 30! No way! Touchdown! Are you kidding me? It's a Minneapolis miracle! Stephon Diggs and the Minnesota Vikings have walked off on the New Orleans Saints. It's a 61-yard Minneapolis miracle.
One of the beautiful things about sports, and why I would say that all of us like it and we all share this hobby as an interest of ours, is at any given moment, something can happen in a game that you think to yourself, I've never seen this before. I've never seen this before. I've never seen a baseball player who is equally as good as hitting as he is pitching. Never. I've never seen a football player do what Saquon Barkley did last year against Jacksonville. I've never seen that before. I've never seen a play like the Minneapolis Miracle. I've never seen it before. I mean, we've all seen this play 100 times in our life. I still don't understand what the Saints defensive player was doing in that scenario. I don't understand why you tried to hit him that way. I don't understand how you missed the tackle. And then just everything from the missed tackle until Stephon Diggs left the field is exactly why you watch sports. He runs into the end zone. He takes his helmet off. You remember he throws his helmet, and maybe the coolest way I've ever seen an NFL player throw his helmet. The entire team comes over and mobs him in a celebration. You remember, that's when we got the one Stephon Diggs meme where he's getting interviewed, I believe, by Pam Oliver. Maybe it was Josina Anderson, can't remember. And the way he's tapping his chest and cries and walks off, it is a perfect sports moment. We've had a couple of those in our lifetime. That's one of them. The David Tyree helmet catch, the kick six from Auburn and Alabama, the Mario Chalmers shot. I hate to throw that in there, but I got to throw it in there. The kid tied the national championship game. Chris Jenkins, a few years later, those perfect sports moments that just make you go, oh, that's why we watch it. And that's one of those moments. 8 years ago, the Minneapolis Miracle happened today, so I wanted that to be the last hit for the day. What a moment. What a play. I remember exactly where I was watching that play. Pretty incredible moment.
Do you think there's any element of the play that's tarnished because the Vikings don't cash it in?
No.
Because, I don't know if locally people feel this way, but I think nationally people don't talk about the 13-second game the way it could be talked about.
For sure.
Because
100%.
the Chiefs don't cash the ticket. Now, maybe it's different because Vikings versus Patrick Mahomes, but
I also don't think that the 13 seconds, it's not just one play. What makes this different? I'm with you. The 13-second is incredible. Don't get me wrong. It's not one play. It's two regular pass completions and then a field goal. It's not like it's one. There isn't some immaculate reception. There's not the one tipped. It's not the Malcolm Butler play at the end zone for the interception. It's just not one play in that way. So if it was the one play, if Tyreek Hill had made the Odell Beckham catch and then the Chiefs kicked the field goal, yeah, people would talk about it. But that's why the 13-second just doesn't really live in the same lore to me as some of those other plays, because it's not just that one singular moment that just will be on highlight montages forever. If anything, I mean, the one highlight from it is Travis Kelce catching the touchdown, Mahomes with his arms up, and then he goes to tackle him. That's probably the moment from the comeback, but that was just the game-winning catch in the game. All right, coming up on the other side, Rob, let's talk about some of the coaching vacancies right now in the NFL. And you and I noticed something. We got a stat to share with you guys. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
Hey, folks, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Many men remember their first time. Not that first time. I'm talking about the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined that special moment. And if you're over 50, then the chances are then you've experienced this before. That first time can be frustrating. It can be a little bit embarrassing. But here's the good news. At Heartland Men's Health, that first time can also be the last time. Heartland Men's Health specializes in treating ED when the pills and herbals fail. With a success rate of over 90%, many men see results just after one visit. So your first visit is just $99, which includes a consult, lab work, and if medically advised, you get a test dose. And if it doesn't work right there in the office, then your visit is on the house. So don't let ED define your sex life. Call my friends at Heartland Men's Health today at 844-447-6600 or check out the website, heartlandmenshealth.com today. You can also stop by and visit any of the 3 area locations, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City. Be sure to stop by Heartland Men's Health.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code CODE to get an extra 35 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code CODE for a 35 cents per gallon bonus.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow. Friday, October 9th at Morton Amphitheater with special guest Nikki Lane.
700,000 rednecks.
Chris Stapleton's All-American Roadshow.
Oh, I think I'm in love with you. I didn't know it at the time. I know what I want to do.
On sale Friday, January 16th, 10 a.m. at livenation.com.
Hey, hockey fans. Now with BetMGM, you can win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets when your anytime goal scorer nets 3. Enter BetMGM's Hat Trick Jackpot all season long for your chance to win some major bonus bets. It's easy. Just log in and opt into the promotion. Then make an anytime score bet on any hockey game of at least $10. If your player of choice scores 3 goals instead of just 1, you'll win your share of the $10K in bonus bets. There's nothing quite like watching a game with a hat trick, especially when it means you could win a share of $10,000 in bonus bets. Ready to shoot your shot? Download the app today. BetMGM. Make it legendary.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards or bonus bets that expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Back in 60.
Are you really eating during the commercial break?
You bet. These Factor meals keep my head in the game.
Oh, yeah? So what do you got there?
This year's filet mignon and creamy Parmesan shrimp. With Factor, I get chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered weekly. Perfect for pros like us.
Oh, so you're a pro now, too?
Box says Factor, eat like a pro. So, yeah.
I think it's time for you to share a bite like a pro.
No. Get your own at factormeals.com. Factor, eat like a pro.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
The news, the crash in Olathe on 35 is removed, but still some backups. You should be unwinding here pretty soon. Stall 435 eastbound at Holmes. Right lane is blocked. North KC, that's a stall block in the right lane. 29 northbound past Vivian. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Trent McDuffie from the Kansas City Chiefs. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
All right. I want to play a couple of pieces of audio for you guys and read to you a stat. The first piece of audio I want to play for you guys is Dan Orlowski. Dan Orlowski was on the Pat McAfee show. There are 9 jobs available right now in the NFL. He believes that the Atlanta job is the best job that's out there.
I think the best available job when it comes to the ability to win now is Atlanta. I believe that this football team has got, crazy amounts of talent. They've got an offensive line that's one of the 10 best offensive lines in football, really good receivers, really good tight end, one of the best players in football, a defense that's loaded with young athletic players. I understand that they don't have a quarterback right now because of the Michael Penix injury and the question mark attached to Kirk. I believe Kirk is going to get cut and then maybe re-sign type of thing. But I think if Kirk Cousins played this year in Atlanta, they would have 10, if not 11 wins. I think if he plays next year in Atlanta, they're a 10, 11 win team. But I just look at Atlanta with the addition of Matt Ryan in a division that's got some, long-term question marks. And if you can find a quarterback, I understand easier said than done, but if you can find good quarterback play in Atlanta with the young talent that they have, man, you can get good real fast.
I got to respectfully disagree with Dan Orlowski. I don't think I would have Atlanta in my top 5 jobs that are currently available. Sure, the division is a plus. That's a plus. But it's not, to me, just about the ability to win a subpar division. It's, are you set up for long-term success? And I just think there's other jobs out there that set you up for more long-term success, whether it's stability at quarterback or just overall organizational strength. If I'm looking for a job and I'm one of those desired candidates that's out there, man, I'm either looking for power and control or I'm looking for stability as an organization. I think Pittsburgh's the best job that's out there. Sure, they don't have the direct path to quarterback, but it is a first-class, A-plus organization that has shown you that they will be patient with you to implement your team, your system, your scheme, and they will give you the resources year in, year out to go be competitive. I would love to take the Pittsburgh job. I think Baltimore has been good for basically the last 25 years. Different general managers, different quarterbacks. That is a solid, first-class, world-class organization, albeit in a tough division, but has shown you the ability to be competitive from a year-in, year-out basis. Tennessee, they just spent the number 1 overall pick last year at quarterback. They got another top pick in this year's NFL draft, and they got $100 million in cap space, and they're moving into a new stadium. There's a lot of things to like about that Tennessee Titans job if you like Cam Ward. The New York Giants, they spent the first-round pick on a quarterback. I like Cam Scatterboot. I like Malik Neighbors. Another strong, historic organization that's out there. The Raiders have the number 1 overall pick in cap space. I get why people like Atlanta, but there's other jobs I would consider before I took the Atlanta job. It's not the best job in my opinion.
Listen, I don't totally agree with Dan Orlovsky here. I do not believe that Atlanta is the best job available. But I think you're overhyping the quality of Pittsburgh's job. I think the best job available is the Ravens because the obvious, Lamar Jackson, strong franchise, the whole deal. I think the Giants are probably the second best job. I think the Giants have a, top 5 pick. They look like they have their quarterback. They have their running back. Their ownership group that's well-respected in the league. Cap space, also have a really good defensive line. I think the Giants' job is a very good job. And then I think the Falcons' job slots in at number 3. I think the Falcons are either A, you are a coach that thinks you can fix Michael Penix and, keep him healthy, keep him upright, and they can go with him. Or B, you are a quarterback away from being really good in a division that's really winnable. You might have You have a top, let's say 25 wide receiver in the NFL in Drake London. You have a top 5 running back in Bijan Robinson. As Dan Orlovsky pointed out, you have a young defense. So, there's not a lot of cap problem. You are just
but you're about to start getting cap problems. You got to pay Bijan Robinson soon. You got to pay Drake London soon.
That's every job in the league. Right. If you do successfully, you're at to pay these.
You
players.
Also don't have a first-round pick this upcoming year, so there are some negatives about this job. Why I would just disagree about the Steelers' job is, I just think ultimately, if you end up taking the right organization, you'll get time to figure it out. Andy Reid got time to figure it out. It's not like Andy Reid instantly started winning championships. Andy Reid took over a bad job that didn't have a quarterback, and they had a top pick in the draft. But he came in, he implemented his system, he had some success, he had some failures, but you got it to a very stable point, and then when you gathered enough resources, you took a swing to go get your quarterback, and you got it right. So if you're going to hire, let's say, Kevin Stefanski, if you're the Steelers, you got to allow Kevin Stefanski the opportunity at some point to take his swing at quarterback. That's why you go get a Kevin Stefanski. And, we've shown the Steelers, they're not firing you. They came out earlier today, and they said they weren't going to fire Mike Tomlin. I'll play the audio for you. Here was Art Rooney. He's the owner of the team. He came out and said today they were not preparing to fire Mike Tomlin. They were going to run it back again with Mike Tomlin, who hasn't won a playoff game since 2017. They haven't had a lead in the second half of a playoff game in their last 4 appearances. They were going to run it back again with him, and in theory, let him pick his next quarterback if he had stayed.
Well, it was his decision, and I will say that I wasn't shocked, but I wasn't expecting that conversation yesterday either. There were, when you get to this stage of a career, obviously. He even mentioned it himself that he was nearer to the end than the beginning, and so, you could see that coming, and so as I say, I can't say that I was shocked.
Would you have been willing to give Mike the extension on his contract for 2027 in March, and did he ask for that?
No, I'm not going to get into his contract at this point. I was certainly willing to, take another run at it next year with Mike, and that's what I was expecting to talk about yesterday, but obviously went in a different direction.
I'm just going to pick organization every time. The Steelers have proven they're a top organization. They've proven they're top, and they've proven they're patient. That's not really the standard right now in the NFL. Rob and I looked this up today because I was very, very curious to hear this answer. Where we currently sit in the NFL, there are only six head coaches who were hired before COVID. And I would say out of a handful of these, some of you think that some of these guys should be fired. The 6 head coaches who were hired before COVID were Andy Reid, 2013, Sean McDermott in Buffalo. Some of you think, hey, maybe he's not the right guy for the job anymore. Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, Zach Taylor, another coach who people think should probably be fired, and Matt LaFleur, who very easily could have been fired after this most recent wild card loss. Man, they're turning over coaches so quickly right now in the NFL. That's 6 coaches that have been implemented before COVID. There's 9 current job openings. Man, there's really 3 categories right now of coaches in the National Football League. There is you are good, there is you are on the hot seat, or you have just started. That's it. That's it. You are in one of those 3 categories at all times. Either you're like Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and you're good. Your team's not contemplating making a move. Either you are entering this season where, one misstep, you can get fired. Minnesota, your head coach, he could get fired. If you start 1-7, they will not hesitate to release you from your deal. Or you're one of these next 9 coaches, or you're in your second year, and it's just so early on in the process, they haven't made a decision one way or the other. Like, as good as Ben Johnson's been, Ben Johnson can't get fired in 2 years. We've seen this before. You get off to a really good start. These next 2 years don't go as planned, and all the shine from that first year, they will then find all of the reasons why your first year wasn't as good as they remember, and they will find a reason to fire you. So, man, the pressure is always on. You better be winning at an incredibly high level. You better be performing in the playoffs. You better be winning championships. You better be doing everything right, because you are, in theory, about 18 months away from them looking for your replacement if you're basically anywhere outside of Pittsburgh or Baltimore or Kansas City over the last handful of years. Nick Sirianni has taken them to 2 Super Bowls. They won a Super Bowl. None of us would be surprised if tomorrow we got the tweet from Adam Schefter that they have let Nick Sirianni go. That is the nature of the business that these guys are in. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for K-State Athletics. 96.5, The Fan.
FanDuel is turning on playoff mode. All customers get a profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. Each game day during the divisional round, you'll find a pack loaded with multiple profit boosts waiting for you in the app. More boosts means more ways to level up your playoff bets. Pick the matchups you believe in, take a shot on an upset, or build a parlay that fits the moment. For me, I'm a Josh Allen believer, and I do not believe for 1 second in Bo Nix. So give me the Bills -1.5 in Denver. Then apply your profit boost and go after even bigger payouts while the playoffs keep rolling. So visit FanDuel.com/local and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game day. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable profit boost tokens. Restrictions apply, including any token expiration and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Back in 60.
Are you really eating during the commercial break?
You bet. These Factor meals keep my head in the game.
Oh, yeah? So what do you got there?
This year's filet mignon and creamy Parmesan shrimp. With Factor, I get chef-prepared, dietitian-approved meals delivered weekly. Perfect for pros like us.
Oh, so you're a pro now, too?
Box says Factor, eat like a pro. So, yeah.
I think it's time for you to share a bite like a pro.
No. Get your own at factormeals.com. Factor, eat like a pro.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Chiefs coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. RENNER forward and back.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Who knew a Halloween costume would change my life and lead me to Renner Garage Door? Renner's KC's go-to team for service, repair, and replacement.
RENNER. RENNER.
What's up, guys? It's Drew. Listen up. It's 2026, and this is going to be your best year yet when it comes to sex. You know why? Because you're finally going to take the advice and try the chewable tablets from Blue Chew. Blue Chew's tablets help you feel and perform at your best, and their licensed medical providers work with you to find the right ingredient for your prescription. Be more confident where it counts. Blue Chew's a small chew for a big difference because showing up matters during life's most exciting moments. You know, just like the athletes that we love to root on for every single day of the week, these athletes have to be able to show up when it matters during the game's most exciting moments. You need to show up during life's most exciting moments. Be ready when she is. It's not just about performance. Give your partner something to brag to their friends about, because nothing makes you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. Discover your options at BlueChew.com and get your first month free when you use the promo code KFNZ at checkout. You just cover $5 for shipping. That's promo code KFNZ. Just cover $5 for shipping. That's it. Then you'll be ready to chew it and do it.
What if your instincts could pay off? With Robinhood Prediction Markets, you could put your knowledge to work on the events that matter to you. Prediction Markets isn't just sports. It's the Fed rate decision, your favorite award show, and so much more beyond the playing field. Trade events with Robinhood. Visit Robinhood.com/predict. That's Robinhood.com/predict. Futures and cleared swaps trading involves significant risk and is not appropriate for everyone. Event contracts are offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, a registered futures commission merchant and swap firm.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/game. That's ETHOS.com/game.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Tonight, expect mostly clear skies with a low of 20.
Weather brought to you by Staples. 2026 is here, and at Staples, deals mean business. Like up to $100 off custom print orders. Head into the new year looking good for less. Staples. That was easy. Ends 1/31.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
We've got a 2-car crash up north 35 southbound at Antioch. It is the right lane that's blocked. Lee Summit still working that stall. 470 westbound just past 50. Scoot to the left. It's the right lane blocked. I'm bound with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Welcome to your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
Rob, are you and your wife, are you restaurant week people?
Yes, we do make a point to go to like at least 2 restaurant week restaurants, but we're not like, let's get to as many as possible.
2? How many we paying you here?
I don't know if you know.
Go to 2?
I'm management now.
Okay, no, I was like, hold on, 2. I mean,
hold on. The whole point of restaurant week is you can get a deal. It's like $65 a person.
Yeah, but then you paying for 2 people, you going twice?
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We don't drink. We get water.
Okay, all right, hold on now. Next time you go, let me know, man. I'll make sure you can get a Stella. What's going on now? You can't have a little cocktail with your meal?
you put a little ice in the water, please?
So every year I try to go to one restaurant I've never been to before. Today I'm going to Stock Hill. So that is going to be the restaurant that I am going to for Restaurant Week. I've heard very good things about Stock Hill. Just have never been to Stock Hill, so very excited to give it a try. Have you been there before?
I have not been to Stock Hill. It was one that I had on the list of things I would like to try during Restaurant Week, but we went a different direction. But yeah, I'm interested to get your review of Stock Hill.
Yeah, I had it between two places. I had it between Eddie V's and Stock Hill. You know, to me, and there's a lot of great local restaurants. The value to me for Restaurant Week is either an Italian food or going to get a steak. That's where, to me, the money is worth. Like every other place, I just would go on my own time. I just would go on a regular time. I just think that's where the value is. So I think you have to pick one of those kind of places to go.
I 100% agree. I also think for us, based on where you live, you kind of got to maneuver to try a lot of the local places. So, like, it's got to be a Friday or Saturday. So you got to, like, for me to go out from where I live out to Crossroads or River Market or whatever, you got to be really offering a deal that I can't usually get.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
year,
Like, I'm just thinking of, like, the kinds of food. Like,
yeah, I agree.
Like, why would I go to Restaurant Week to eat Mexican food? Just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me to go
brunch.
do that.
They do brunch. I'm like, that seems like a waste of everyone's time.
Yeah, but, like, I get brunch. Like, it's like
brunch.
$20. Yeah, I'm not the biggest brunch person in the world. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, I don't know who hates brunch, but it's just not really it's not my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, this was not a knock of brunch. It's like,
I actually like brunch more on vacation than I like it at home.
Well, yeah, I agree. But like, if you're going to do a brunch at home, it's probably going to be like $20 a person anyway. So what deal am I getting on Restaurant Week to do $20 a person when that's kind of what it is regular?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Except for now, I don't really get, to pick from the whole menu. It's a little more preset.
For sure. Yeah. I think last year I went to that Marina 27 place.
I did Marina 27 last year too.
I went to Marina.
I really liked Marina 27. I went at night in January, so it wasn't like the views and the vibes, but I enjoyed my time at Marina 27.
Yeah. Someone said, have you been to Anthony's Italian restaurant? I have actually been there before. Good. It's good.
It's right near your house. I mean, not
it's
right
right
near,
down the street. Yeah,
it's
not. I don't live far from Anthony's. Yeah, I don't.
You
live
could
far
walk
from
to Anthony's. I've been to Anthony's, but yeah, it's a little more of a maneuver
yeah, no,
for
Anthony's
me.
is good. Yeah, I'm saying I always try for Restaurant Week. I'm doing one of those two things. I'm either trying a steak restaurant I've ever been to or an Italian restaurant. I just don't think the value is really there to get any other kind of food during that time. Like, you can go get sushi you can go to Raw Sushi next week. You're not going to save that much money to me by doing it.
I agree. Like, I really enjoy Bamboo Pennies, but like,
yeah, we just eat Bamboo Penny so much for the station. Yeah,
yeah. But
I go to Bamboo Penny like 6 times a year,
and it's probably the same with Anthony's. Like, even if the station ain't helping out with Bamboo, it's like right near my house. I can just go to Bamboo whenever I want.
That's real. I am very curious to try Stock Hill because I've had most of the other local steak places. I haven't tried Stock Hill, especially because I went to 1587 a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'll be kind of curious.
Interesting comp, yeah.
As I'm saying, I'll be curious to kind of, was this better? Was this? I'll be very interested to give it a try.
Now, I will say, I'm not trying to defend the Stock Hill right now. I do think it's different though, because at 1587 you could order whatever you wanted. Restaurant Week, the one negative is it's the preset. You got 3 options, 4 options type of deal.
Give me I already looked. But then that's why I like that they let you know the menus before.
I agree. I 100% agree. Because there are some places where I like to try this. I'm like, I don't think the Restaurant Week menu moves me. So I'm not going to try it this time. I'll give it a chance next time.
Okay. Somebody said I'm going to Jay Gilbert's on Saturday. I have been to Jay Gilbert's one time.
I've been to Jay Gilbert's.
It was good. I took, actually, my sister, her 21st birthday. Actually, we went to Jay Gilbert's. Yeah, 21st birthday. We went to Jay Gilbert's. I very much enjoyed it. Very, very good.
I like how people are asking if you've tried certain items at Stock Hill. Well, no, you haven't been there.
No, I've never been before. I am planning on doing the Golden Ox. I've never been to Golden Ox. I don't know why. It's been on my list of places I want to go to in the city, and I've never been. So I am planning on doing the Golden Ox thing.
I can't believe, especially based on where you live, you've never done Golden Ox. I haven't done it in a long time, but I've checked the box.
This is honestly one of the reasons why, Rob, and I'm not saying this like we just got the hookup at so many steak places. It's then hard to go to a place where I don't have the hookup.
That's fair. And
you're
like,
more connected if you and I want to go get a steak, there's places you can go like, all right, cool. I had a great meal and we either didn't have to pay or we got to so that's why I very rarely go outside of my area when it comes to a steak restaurant.
That's fair. I just meant like I haven't been in a long, long time, but just it's one of those like
I'm excited to try
those type of places in Kansas City. It's probably like it's not the exact same, but Imagine if you met someone who's like, yeah, I live in the city, and they're like, I've never been to Garozzo's. You'd be like, what?
Yeah.
How is that possible?
I love Garozzo's. It's great. Fantastic. Someone said Black Garlic. Is that his restaurant? Let me check this out. Black Garlic. You never heard of this place before? Restaurant and rum bar. Let me see.
Oh, hello.
Sound like my kind of time. What they got going on over there? What they got going on over there?
The time I did it, I did Golden Ox and went to the ship.
They have Ethiopian and Caribbean food.
Nah, you're out.
Hold on. I'm not against this. Hold on now. I'm not against this. I didn't even know about this place. Let me check out the menu of a Black Garlic. Oh, they got crab cakes on the menu and a little jerk chicken? I might have to go. Hold on. I might have to go check this place out. Oh, $65 for a course. Oh, hold on now. It's a lot. What they got going on over there? Might have to just go do it a regular time. All right, this is a lot of fun. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself. It's The Drive.